You were born under the nourishment of 1080 supreme bones and 108 immortal bones, and awakened the longevity immortal body. However, from ancient times to the present, longevity has never been smooth sailing. Although you possess endless lifespan, it also means your cultivation is destined to grow slowly. Just as the family elders were sighing, the newborn you actually in a single breath advanced from uninitiated to the second major realm, the Dao womb realm. Before you had time to notice the gazes of the great Emperor clan elders around you, you suddenly bound the poor scholar counterattack system. As long as you complete tasks you can get rewards. Hearing the system's voice and looking at the great emperors around you, you just felt that either you or the system must be crazy. In the blink of an eye 5 years passed. In these 5 years you spent most of your time sleeping. But your realm did not fall behind others at all. You can automatically cultivate even while sleeping, which is simply fantastic. As the youngest 9th son among the legitimate children of the Qin family, you are the most favored one. In the Wangchuan pavilion of the Qin family's small world, Qin Wenhe holds a jade slip in his hand, and is explaining the secrets of cultivation to the 5-year-old you. This teacher, personally appointed by the Qin family's patriarch, although appearing on the surface as an elegant scholar, has actually lived through 30,000 years of spring and autumn. Your Highness, although you have the longevity immortal body, and have no advantage in cultivation, but after all you have the bonus of the immortal bones. I think 8 years is enough. Before Qin Wenhe's voice fell, you sitting on the ground blinked your eyes, and asked innocently, "Will it take 8 years that long?" But I broke through after waking up this morning. As your voice fell, the aura around you suddenly changed, and a thick pressure of the spirit platform realm slowly spread out. At this, Qin Wenhe's pupils shrank slightly, and he almost crushed the jade slip in his hand. He still maintained the majesty of a teacher on the surface, but in his heart stormy waves had already surged. Spirit platform realm. And the foundation is solid. The spiritual energy is condensed as if substantial. Recalling that he painstakingly cultivated for 11 years back then just to barely step into this realm. Now in comparison, he suddenly felt a tightness in his chest. Qin Wenhe coughed lightly, pretending to be calm, and said, Not bad. It seems your Highness has outstanding talent. It was this old man who underestimated you." After saying that, he looked at the young boy in front of him with complex eyes. A 5-year-old child, with childishness still in his eyebrows and eyes. But those eyes are as deep as a sea of stars, as if harboring endless mysteries. Immortal body plus immortal bones. Indeed, cannot be speculated by human wisdom. Qin Wenhe sighed inwardly. Just as he was about to say something, he suddenly heard a burst of hurried footsteps outside the hall. Mr. Qin, a maid in green, hurriedly stepped in, and whispered after respectfully bowing, "The Patriarch sent a message, asking you to immediately go to the Heavenly Secret Pavilion for a meeting." Watching the teacher hurry away, you casually picked a crystal-clear flat peach from the desk and took a bite. The surface of this peach flows with pale gold patterns. It is an immortal peach specially sent by the Patriarch. It is a real immortal peach. It blossoms once every 10,000 years, bears fruit once every 10,000 years, and yields 1,200 fruits at a time. If people in the lower realms have destiny, just smelling the fruit's fragrance can let them live for 470 years. And eating one can increase their lifespan by 36,000 years. You just took a bite.
Suddenly, the system loaded at 99.99%.
Ding! System loading complete. Detected that the host's current situation is difficult, severely lacking in resources, and suffering from the cold shoulder. The poor scholar counterattack system is at your service. Lacking in resources? The warehouse of your Wangchuan pavilion is already stuffed with gifts from the Patriarch and others. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it a treasure pavilion. Suffering from the cold shoulder? Just yesterday the Patriarch personally came over, for fear that you might have some mishap in your cultivation. Seeing that you didn't reply, the system's voice continued to echo in your ears. You originally came from a humble cultivating family, but because your mother was from a lowly brothel background, coupled with a natural trash physique unable to cultivate, you have suffered from the family's cold stares. Your resources have been embezzled, making it hard to obtain even the most basic cultivation supplies. At first you even rejoiced that you moved out of the muddy alleys and into a large family, only to later discover that this place is an even deeper abyss. As the youngest 9th concubine-born son in the family, not only have you never seen your father's face, but you are also bullied by your brothers and sisters. Even the servants dare to openly embezzle your cultivation resources in front of your face. Are you really resigned to this? Look around you. Don't you want to make those who once looked down on you all kneel and tremble at your feet? As long as you complete various counterattack tasks, we guarantee the host will rise from a humble background, counterattack in one fell swoop to become a supreme aristocratic family. Cultivation methods, divine weapons and beauties will all be easily accessible. The system's voice was full of bewitchment. You were shaking with anger just listening to it. But the problem is, system, the person you're talking about is absolutely not me. You've found the wrong person. System self-checking. Check complete, no errors found. Host, Qin Wangchuan, the youngest concubine-born son in a humble cultivation family, who suffers bullying due to a natural trash physique. The Qin family has countless great emperors, and even a heavenly emperor presiding over it. You call this a humble family? In terms of status, it already stands at the ceiling of the ceiling in the entire cultivation world. How can one counterattack from here? Rule the world? Listening to the system's solemn nonsense, you just wanted to laugh. A natural trash physique? Your longevity immortal body is a peerless physique that even great emperors would envy. System self-checking. Check complete, no errors found. Please host, do not bite off more than you can chew. Only by abandoning illusions can you take the first step of counterattack. Novice task released. As a concubine-born son of a humble family, even the maids dare to humiliate the host. Please teach the maid a lesson within 5 days, making her kneel and beg for mercy. No. I have over 200 maids in this place. Which one are you talking about? Self-checking. Task is correct. By the way, the probability of this system making a mistake is as low as the world being destroyed. Its mouth is quite stubborn. Please complete the task as soon as possible. Task reward. Origin Jia Wu. Simulation chances Jia Yi. Currently the host's origin is 250. Converted to a 2.5x multiplier. You, a broken system, can give origin? Your expression instantly became extremely fascinating. Origin, as the name implies, is the fundamental root of a person, which essentially determines a person's potential and cultivation speed. The advantage of your longevity immortal body is obvious. Automatic cultivation. No bottlenecks when breaking through. And destined to become an immortal in the future. But the disadvantage is also obvious. The cultivation speed is too slow. Slower than the vast majority of holy physiques. The higher the origin, the faster the cultivation speed. Perfectly making up for the physique's shortcoming. Only a great emperor can increase their own origin. But now this broken system can actually give it directly. This dog system unexpectedly has some good stuff. Then let's give it a try. You act on it immediately. You immediately wave to a maid in the distance. You don't even need to speak. After walking over, she immediately kneels down, quietly waiting for instructions. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Rewards have been issued. Origin +5. Current origin, 2.55x. Feeling the strange power surging in your body, you couldn't help but stretch. Every inch of your skin felt much more relaxed. It's very comfortable. Adding 5 points. Changed it from 2.5 to 2.55. The multiplier here refers to the cultivation multiplier. You just don't know how many times others' cultivation speed is. After waving to dismiss the maid, you sit in place pondering. The figure of 2.55x is definitely not heaven-defying. Some holy physiques with cultivation bonuses might far exceed this number. But don't forget, this is just the beginning. As long as it can increase. Now it's 2 times. In the future it could be 5 times, 10 times, 100 times. System, what is this simulation chance? Once a day. Consume simulation chances and a certain amount of lifespan. To simulate and deduce the host's future. After each simulation you can choose to inherit one of the following 3 items. 1. Lifespan. 2. Cultivation, method comprehension. Sun. Origin. You glanced at the lifespan needed to be consumed on the system interface. The next moment you suddenly burst out laughing. First simulation. Consumes 30 years of lifespan. Host's remaining lifespan, 999 years. Although it is true that a trash physique reduces lifespan, this really takes you for a piece of trash. How could the longevity immortal body only have a mere 999 years of lifespan? Even drinking a drop of your blood could allow a lower realm cultivator to increase their lifespan by 1,000 years. Of course the premise is if they can withstand it. Obviously this broken system can only display up to 3 digits. I don't need lifespan. Origin is quite good. If the cultivation method comprehension is of emperor grade, that would also be quite good. You weren't in a hurry to rejoice either. This broken system exudes weirdness everywhere. If you say it's garbage, it can reward origin. If you say it's powerful, it obviously bound the wrong person but remains stubborn. With my physique, becoming an immortal emperor is absolutely guaranteed. I just wonder if I can touch realms above the immortal emperor. Without further ado, you immediately choose to start the simulation. Year 0. You were born in an inconspicuous small town on the edge of the Qin family's territory, in the 10 Directions Immortal Court. In Chiwa town. The night you were born, the astronomical phenomena slightly stirred. 5 infants were born in the town at the same time. The blacksmith's twins, the grain shop owner's youngest son, the beggar woman's daughter, and the mad woman's daughter. Year 1, you were born blind. The midwife helped your crazy mother name you Ye Jianwei. Simulation paused. Wait a minute.
System, who the F Xinghao K is this?
It's the host. After a moment of silence, you pointed at the name Ye Jianwei on the light screen and questioned. Read these 3 characters out loud carefully. The system has no right to view the simulation content. This is not me at all, but a person named Ye Jianwei. His name has 3 characters. My name also has 3 characters. So I equal him? Makes sense. System, you are really seriously ill. Taking a deep breath. You wanted to see just how absurd this broken system could get. Simulation continues. Year 2, you already had consciousness. Although you could not see, you were exceptionally sensitive to spiritual energy. Your crazy mother, occasionally lucid, would hold you and murmur to herself. Seeing the minute one knows the manifest. Seeing the minute one knows the manifest. Year 3, from the recount of people around you, you learned the reason for your mother's madness. She was originally a top courtesan in a brothel, who sold her art but not her body. After being deceived of her feelings and abandoned by the young master of the Yi family, she went crazy and never recovered. Year 4. This year the new emperor of the Central State Dynasty took the throne. While taking care of your crazy mother, you helped neighbors with their work to subsidize the household, fantasizing about making a little more money to exchange for a house that didn't leak. Year 5. Your mother went out on the street to stop the Yi family's carriage but got hit. Mother breathed her last on a rainy night. She suddenly became lucid before dying, grabbing your hand and saying, Jianwei, you can't survive alone. Rather than suffering in this world, it's better to leave with me. Although you wanted to leave with your mother, you couldn't just let her corpse be exposed in the wilderness. You tried to sell yourself to bury your mother. But because of your blindness no one was willing to buy you. Just when you were disheartened, a mysterious person passed by, handed you a broken jade slip and said lightly, some things cannot be obtained through charity. Blind boy, learn the Zither. You obtained a broken Zither, and a remnant volume of the 9 Heavens Zither Emperor Scripture. Year 6, you began to cultivate. Following the methods in the Emperor Scripture, you successfully stepped into the first realm, the martial extreme realm. Year 7, Chiwa town was attacked by demonic beasts. The blacksmith's twins were swallowed alive. The grain shop owner's youngest son was rescued by Qin family cultivators. The beggar woman's daughter went missing. Because you heard the commotion in advance and hid, you luckily survived. Year 8, you made steady progress and broke through to the second realm. At this time you found that your hearing became increasingly sensitive, even able to hear the sound of mice walking inside their holes. Year 9, when Chiwa town was rebuilt, the restaurant was short of hands. Seeing that you could play the Zither, they hired you as a menial worker. And you finally had a place to practice the Zither. Year 10. One day while you were practicing Zither tunes in the restaurant's backyard, you accidentally overheard passing cultivators chatting. Have you heard? The Qin family has 2 people who ate leopard gall. Qin Xian and Chao Xiangguan actually dared to collude with foreign tribes. They stole a secret treasure and defected from the Qin family. Now there's a good show to watch. You inwardly muttered that large families are never any good, and continued to pluck the Zither strings. Simulation paused. Wait. Defected from the Qin family? You looked at these lines of text and began to ponder. In the 4th year the new emperor of the Central State Dynasty took the throne. That was the year before last. Which means this person Ye Jianwei is the same age as me. We are both 5 years old this year. And the defection happens at age 10. Although it is not my future being deduced, I can still use this to glimpse a corner of the future, and thereby know certain things. Speaking of this, you already have an idea. Traitors must absolutely not be let off. But there is no rush right now. Simulation continues. Year 15, you broke through to the 3rd realm. the spirit platform realm. The Zither sound could captivate souls. One day a drunken cultivator took a fancy to your beauty, and wanted to force a marriage. After being rejected he flew into a rage out of humiliation. And wanted to launch a sneak attack under the cover of night. With a pluck of your fingertips. The Zither sound shattered his soul. Year 16, as your Zither skills improved day by day. You accumulated some money. Your originally frail body opened up. Revealing stunning looks. The number of times you were harassed increased day by day. You became increasingly disgusted with men in your heart. While thinking it was time to leave this town. Year 18, on the surface you are a blind performer. But in reality, you have already broken through to the fourth realm, the spirit Dao realm. The sound of slaughter is as clear as substance. Year 19, you sneaked into the Ye family. And assassinated the Ye family's eldest young master, amidst his group of wives and concubines to avenge your mother. At the same time you learned that the Qixia town Ye family was merely a small branch. You suffered joint pursuit and bounties from the Ye family branches. Year 20, you left Qixia town, traveling under the identity of a blind Zither master. Because no one believed a blind person could cultivate. You were able to hide your identity. Year 30, you broke through to the fifth realm. The Spirit Sea realm. Your Zither sound could turn into sword chi. You started dodging the Ye family's pursuit while traveling various places to look for the sequel of the Nine Heavens Zither Emperor scripture. In the same year you learned that the Qin Emperor's tomb had opened. And decided to head there. Year 55, you broke through to the seventh realm. When the Emperor's tomb opened, you witnessed the top 10 Emperor clans for the first time. Among them the most dazzling one was surrounded by everyone like stars around the moon. You learned his origin. From the Emperor clan Qin family. Even as strong as the Ye family was in the eyes of the Emperor clan, they were like villagers. His name was Qin Wangchuan. She could actually run into me? You stroked your chin. Pity I don't know what my realm was at that time. Year 56. Qin family's divine son Qin Wangchuan swept through the Emperor's tomb. Rolling up all the opportunities. But you also had a rich harvest. Finding the complete Nine Heavens Zither Emperor scripture. Divine son? It seems a lot happened during these decades. Year 80. You beheaded the head of the Ye family branch. Thinking the grudge was settled. Stronger experts started to hunt you down. Year 150. You took a risk to break through to the ninth realm. Slaying all your pursuers in one fell swoop. And began to cultivate in seclusion. Year 248. You broke through to the 10th realm. And your Zither techniques reached great mastery. To release your nowhere-to-be-placed loneliness. You founded the Heavenly Sound Pavilion, and recruited disciples widely. Year 411. The Heavenly Sound Pavilion became a regional power. You always remained hidden behind the scenes. The world only knew the Pavilion Master was a mysterious blind Zither Master. Year 1700. You broke through to the 12th realm. Attempting to enter the Dao through the Zither. The Emperor clans started noticing you. Year 8650. You broke through to the 22nd realm to prove the Emperor Dao. Your Zither sound eternally suppressed the heaven and earth. Later generations respectfully called you the Zither Emperor. Able to cultivate to become a great emperor. Quite rare indeed. You looked on and nodded. But the simulation seemed to not be over yet. Year 51600. The world grew forgetful of your deeds. But when you reappeared, you had already ascended to the 23rd realm, the Heavenly Emperor realm. Becoming the first Heavenly Emperor in history without family backing. Simulation ending. Ultimately became the Zither, Heavenly Emperor. Proving the Dao with the Zither. The sound shaking the heavens. Survival time unknown. Ending. You entered the Dao with the Zither. Becoming a generation's Zither Emperor. Aloof from worldly affairs. Indifferent to worldly matters. You looked at this record and remained silent for a long time. To think it's a Heavenly Emperor. You said in a low voice. This is not something achievable purely by luck. According to what the Patriarch said. Right timing, right place and right people. None can be missing. Since I know she will become a Heavenly Emperor in the future. Then taking her under my wing now, wouldn't I be invincible? There are many great emperors in this world. But even if the top 10 Emperor clans are added together, they can only scrape together 3 Heavenly Emperors. They are respectively the Qin family's Qin Heavenly Emperor, the Ji family's Ji Heavenly Emperor, and the Li family's Li Heavenly Emperor. The 3 of them divide the world. So they are also known as the 3 heavens of the 10 leaders. Under this situation, if the family gains one more Heavenly Emperor, it won't just simply be breaking the balance. but rather the entire cultivation world would have to bear the surname Qin. Your gaze slightly narrowed, unexpectedly giving rise to an illusion that she was the real protagonist. Please choose the following rewards to inherit. 1. 1000 years of lifespan. 2. Emperor-grade cultivation method, 9 heavens Zither Emperor scripture. And its comprehension key points. 3. Origin plus 810. Lifespan is the most useless. Eliminated right off the bat. Although the Emperor-grade cultivation method is very tempting. This stuff, to be honest, the Qin family doesn't lack. Besides, as long as Ye Jianwei is found, wouldn't the 9 heavens Zither Emperor scripture be yours? Even though it's just a remnant volume. I choose 3. You did not hesitate in the slightest. That familiar feeling struck again. It wasn't just a simple surge of power. You only felt the immortal bones in your body tremor simultaneously. Every inch of flesh and blood was cheering and leaping for joy. Chaotic immortal light gushed out from the depths of the bone marrow, surging in the meridians like a heavenly river pouring backwards. This was far from the subtle improvement brought by the previous 5 points of origin, but a life leap triggered by a qualitative change in origin. Crack! Just a trace of leaked longevity origin caused the immortal peach on the desk to suddenly split open, the core breaking through the flesh to sprout. The spiritual energy of the entire Wangchuan pavilion spontaneously formed a vortex, frantically pouring into your young body. Current origin, 10.65 x 10.6x. Which means whether it's my cultivation speed or my comprehension speed, it's 10 times that of others, perfectly making up for the longevity immortal body's shortcoming of slow cultivation speed. You clenched your fists. Suddenly a faint shell-cracking sound echoed in your body. You broke through. 4th realm, the spirit Dao realm. This was the realm Ye Jianwei only reached at 18 in the simulation. Yet you reached it at 5. At this moment footsteps approached outside the hall. It was Qin Wenhe returning. The explosive surge of aura brought by the realm breakthrough naturally caught the attention of this expert. You suddenly raised your hand, and before Qin Wenhe could speak, you had actively gone forward and said, "Teacher, I need to find a town, see a person, and kill 2 old dogs. Named Qin Xian. Which means he is from the Qin family's main or branch lineage. Calling such a traitor an old dog is considered flattering him. Of course this matter is not the main thing. Leaving it to Qin Wenhe to handle is fine. He is the teacher. And also half a Dao protector. The focus is still Ye Jianwei." Hearing this, Qin Wenhe paused his steps, looking seriously at the immature young boy who was only barely above his knees. A trace of astonishment flashed across his brows. He broke through after just a short moment of being apart? What town does your highness want to find? See what person? And kill which 2 old dogs? Qin Wenhe weighed his words, clearly not wanting to be a bad influence on the young highness. You responded. A small town named Qixia Town, wherein lives a blind girl named Ye Jianwei. She will be a heavenly emperor of the future. As for those 2 old dogs, the child's immature face revealed an arrogance unsuited for his age. Qin Xian and Chao Xiangguan, who will collude with other clans and defect from the Qin family 5 years from now. Although it's an event 5 years from now, I'm afraid they have already colluded. Using soul search should be able to find clues. The person in front of you is a core member of the Qin family. There's absolutely no need to hide things. Just tell him everything. Defect. Qin Wenhe's pupils shrank abruptly. The Qin family has existed since the beginning of the immemorial era until now. There has been no shortage of defectors for various reasons. But what surprised him was not this, but that His Highness could actually know the future. And even found a heavenly emperor. Let alone a heavenly emperor. Even an existence like a great emperor comes with great karma at birth. And delegating it to the heavenly secret pavilion cannot fully predict it. How did your highness learn all this? Qin Wenhe squatted down, stroked his beard and asked. As for an excuse, you had already thought of one. I dreamt it. You blinked your eyes, looking completely innocent. I saw it all in a dream. I only saw these. At this moment you became innocent again. Qin Wenhe took all this into his eyes. Although he had some doubts, he believed it more. Then what does your highness want me to do? Order people to find Qixia Town. After finding it, I will go there personally. Those 2 old dogs are left to you. After speaking, you even gave a thumbs up, looking like you think highly of him. Extremely mischievous. This is not difficult. It's just that this old man has a question for your highness. He gently stroked his beard. and lowered his voice a bit. Those two old dogs. Under what name should this old man go? You blinked your eyes and suddenly smiled. Teacher. As the two words fell, the sandalwood incense in the hall suddenly dissipated. Qin Wenhe's breath also stagnated with it. It was as if what stood before him was not a child, but an arrogant heaven-defying genius. Kill in the name of His Highness. A golden light flashed in Qin Wenhe's eyes. The corners of his mouth turned up slightly. This old man obeys the decree. At this time Qin Xian was located on one of the Qin family's estate islands sparring with someone. Qin Wenhe stepped into the martial arts arena alongside a deacon elder. His gaze swept across the surroundings like lightning. He stood with his hands behind his back. And the next moment his voice wrapped in thick spiritual power reverberated throughout the entire arena. Where are Qin Xian and Chao Xiangwen? Come see me at once. Young master. Chao Xiangwen looked at his young master hesitantly, a trace of uneasiness flashing in his eyes. It was obvious he had a guilty conscience. Qin Xian also frowned slightly, but soon smoothed it out. The corner of his mouth hooked into an arc of disdain. No matter. Perhaps it's about that rumored matter from before. The clan is selecting 10 Dao children. Maybe he's here to grant a serendipity. Not to brag. He was confident that among the younger generation in the clan, both his strength and talent were highly ranked. Straightening his robes, he strode towards Qin Wenhe. Chao Xiangwen followed closely behind, bowing respectfully, yet keeping his head lowered the whole time, not daring to meet Qin Wenhe's eyes. Qin Wenhe's gaze was as deep as an abyss, quietly sizing up the two people in front of him. After a moment he said flatly, "You are Qin Xian." Qin Xian lowered his head even more. Exactly. Looking at the other person. You are Chao Xiangwen. Disciple Chao Xiangwen pays respects to the elder. After confirming their identities, Qin Wenhe's gaze suddenly turned cold. The aura around his body became like an abyss and a purgatory, instantly enveloping the entire martial arts arena. He slowly spoke, his voice calm but revealing unquestionable majesty. The Ninth Highness has decreed. Execute the clan traitors Qin Xian and Chao Xiangwen. To enforce the clan rules. Qin Xian's pupils shrank abruptly, his expression changing drastically. Treason against the clan? Why does the elder say this? This disciple is totally loyal to the Qin family, and absolutely has no ulterior motives. Chao Xiangwen trembled all over even more, cold sweat pouring down his forehead, subconsciously taking half a step back. However, Qin Wenhe didn't say much more, but just with a thought. Pfft. The two were instantly decapitated before they could even react. Chao Xiangwen didn't even have time to let out a scream. The moment their necks were snapped, blood gushed out, but was then frozen in midair by an invisible force, unable to spill down. And bizarrely, the two did not die. Qin Wenhe's gaze was indifferent, tapping lightly with his fingertips. A strand of the power of laws fell on them, forcibly locking their life force, putting them in a state of being on the verge of death but not dead. Soul search. He snorted lightly, and waved his hand. The deacon elder next to him immediately understood, stepped forward, took out an image recording stone from his sleeve, and prepared to cast the soul search technique. There is a restriction. Just as the deacon elder was about to strike, he suddenly exclaimed, his gaze turning serious. In the bodies of Qin Xian and Chao Xiangwen, there were actually planted restrictions specifically designed to prevent soul searching. There is indeed a problem. If it were in another family, they might really have no way to deal with this restriction. The moment it is forcibly broken, the person under the restriction would instantly have their soul destroyed. But this is the Qin family. The deacon elder coldly snorted, flipped his palm, and a green leaf emerged. This was no ordinary leaf, but a divine leaf from the Qin family's undying divine tree. Its divine might was vast, instantly crushing the restriction. Following that, he cast the soul search technique without hesitation, forcibly extracting the memories of the two. Although Qin Xian and Chao Xiangwen were decapitated, their consciousnesses were still awake, being forcibly soul searched at this moment. The pain almost made them collapse. Their souls were peeled away inch by inch, and their memories since birth unfolded like a scroll, then were recorded one by the image recording stone. The earlier memories were fairly normal. Qin Xian had outstanding talent since childhood, and was highly valued by the family. As for Chao Xiangwen, he was a branch disciple of the Chao family, cultivating diligently, desiring to stand out and achieve success. However, as the memories advanced to a few years ago, it turned out that the Chao family was a nail planted by a foreign clan from the very beginning. They lurked among the Qin family's subordinate families, secretly collecting intelligence, waiting for the right opportunity. The Chao family had unexpectedly only feigned submission for so many years, while in fact everything was arranged by the foreign clan, to disguise themselves so well. These scumbags. After ending the soul search, the deacon elder's face was gloomy, murderous intent surging in his eyes. Thanks to your excellency. If this was not exposed today, I simply dare not imagine what would happen in the future. It wasn't me. Qin Wenhe also didn't expect the matter to be so serious. He coldly scanned the entire arena, his voice carrying a hint of puzzlement and admiration. Everything today was arranged by the Ninth Highness. The traitors were discovered by him, and the execution order was also issued by him. Now the evidence was conclusive. Traitors to the clan shall be killed without pardon. As his voice fell, he waved his sleeve. Qin Xian and Chao Xiangwen's bodies and souls instantly shattered, turning into flying ash and dissipating. The entire arena was deathly silent. All the disciples kept quiet out of fear, their hearts endlessly shocked. Qin Wenhe's gaze was icy cold, slowly speaking. Regarding today's matter, I hope you all take it as a warning. After speaking he paused, and added a sentence. His Highness the Ninth Prince might be watching you. Now the pressure was pushed to the absolute maximum. Everyone who heard this couldn't help but gasp. And in their hearts towards this Ninth Highness they had never met, they felt a bit more reverence and apprehension. A 5-year-old child not only bears an immortal body, but can foresee the future. And his methods are even more decisive. Ordering someone over, he killed them without even giving them a chance to explain. When Qin Wenhe found Qin Fuhai with the image recording stone, the latter's face was also full of shock. Did he really say he learned this in a dream? With a crack of fine lines split on the teacup in Qin Fuhai's hand, amber-colored tea slowly seeped out along the crack, dripping onto the black jade desk. The voice of this peerless powerhouse who had governed the Qin family for tens of thousands of years trembled rarely, his fingertips unconsciously rubbing the edge of the image recording stone. My grandson, a 5-year-old child, knows the past and the future, and could actually find a heavenly emperor? Time seemed to be drawn away. Even the drifting tea fragrance froze in midair. Show the image recording stone to this old man. A voice seemingly coming from ancient times echoed in the hall. Qin Fuhai's whole body shook violently. The teacup in his hand shattered with a snap. The two unhesitatingly bowed respectfully. Greetings, Ancestor. Ripples appeared in the void. An old man in hemp clothes emerged out of thin air. The Qin family's ancestor Qin Tai. In an instant a massive light screen appeared in the room. The soul-searched memories of Qin Xian, and the other unfolded like a long river. Interesting. The image of the genesis of all things in the ancestor's right eye suddenly solidified. Although the man in black had prepared a Dharma treasure to conceal his figure, little did he know that in the eyes of a heavenly emperor, these methods were like a child's clumsy graffiti on the snow. His left eye showed galaxies rolling backwards. His right eye showed life force stagnating. The two gazes actually penetrated the memories and reflected into reality. Separated by billions of galaxies away, above the ancestral land of the Zhou family, one of the top 10 emperor clans, an eye of Dao principles that blotted out the sky and sun actually manifested. Even the clan protection grand array, laid down by a powerful emperor clan, was easily pierced like thin paper under this gaze. Found you. Before the great emperors of the Zhou family could react, the Qin family ancestor's voice seemed to come from eternity ago. Subsequently countless Zhou family disciples, including that man in black, suddenly exploded into clouds of blood mist. Even their residual souls were peeled away inch by inch. This is the method of a heavenly emperor. Even if they are both among the top 10 emperor clans, even if they have great emperors guarding the family, as long as they don't produce a heavenly emperor for a day, they are still ants for a day. If it weren't for the agreement between the 3 heavenly emperors, this Zhou family could be destroyed with a flick of a finger. The eye of Dao principles slowly closed, and his gaze returned to the Qin family. It's the Zhou family. I have already taught them a small lesson. Handle the compensation-related matters well. Daring to play petty tricks on my Qin family, we must absolutely empty out their family's foundation. From now on the Ninth Highness's resources will be ranked at the absolute 0 position. Hearing this, Qin Fuhai was startled, frowned slightly, and respectfully asked Ancestor, the absolute 0 position is? The Ancestor slowly spoke, his voice carrying unquestionable majesty. The absolute zero position means all resources within the clan shall be prioritized for Chuaner alone. Ancestor. Qin Fuhai weighed his words. What about the other highnesses? Humph. The Ancestor coldly snorted, waving his sleeve. If they can show even half of Chuaner's potential, this old man will also give them the absolute zero position. Those grandsons and granddaughters of yours. The crazy ones are crazy. The ones hiding their clumsiness are hiding their clumsiness. There are hardly any normal ones. Only the eldest one is not bad. Bearing the desolate ancient holy body. With the bearing of a heavenly emperor. What a pity he's a fool. Within the palaces of the several Qin family highnesses, faint voices could be heard. Absolute zero position? Unheard of. The Ancestor really likes to cause a stir. In this world, the sharper the sword, the easier it dulls. Only by hiding its edge can the sword remain stable. Ninth brother's birthday is approaching, right? Soon we can make another fortune. Tisk tisk. The science funding is going to be reduced again. But it's also time to go see ninth brother. Meanwhile, outside the Qin family, in the 10 Directions Immortal Court, at the Crimson Dragon Abyss, at the bottom of the abyss permeated with blood mist, the corpse of a crimson true dragon lay across the magma. Its dragon scales were shattered. Its dragon blood condensed into crystals. The Qin family's fifth highness Qin Qingji stood before the dragon's head. Her white dress was dyed with blood. The dragon blood on the sword in her hand had not yet coagulated. The heart of a true dragon can help ninth brother temper his body. She muttered to herself softly. Suddenly she tilted her head slightly, seeming to be in thought. I wonder what color ninth brother likes. So troublesome. I'll just get a few more. You stand on the immortal skiff, looking at the outline of the small town from afar. Your Highness, us running out this time without giving notice. Will it? The guard behind you said hesitantly. Notice? You shake your head and chuckle softly. Wasn't it already given? The guards look at each other, not understanding the reason. If the elders truly did not allow it, how could we possibly be standing here? Everyone suddenly understood. Your Highness, we have arrived. The guard said respectfully. You nod slightly. Standing atop the clouds, looking down at the small town below your feet. A trace of composure unsuited for your age appears on your immature face. Spread out. Secretly lock down the town. Do not alarm anyone. You said flatly. After entering, pay attention to the street sides. I am looking for someone similar in age to me. A blind girl selling herself to bury her mother. Yes. Not long after, a guard's whisper came to your ear. Your Highness. We found one who meets the conditions. Where? Just up ahead. Scattered on the damp bluestone slabs were a few mud-stained copper coins. Ye Jianwei sat kneeling at the edge of the straw mat, his fingertips fumbling for the last spirit stone tossed by a passerby. He couldn't see, but he could hear. Filled in his ears are the whispers of passersby. Sarcasm, pity, and even contemptuous teasing. This blind kid is still selling himself to bury his mother? Who would want him? He has a good foundation. If young Master Yi hadn't already given the word, buying him back to warm the bed wouldn't be bad. But the eldest young master of the Yi family has spoken. Whoever buys him gets screwed. Who dares to buy? Ye Jianwei's fingers trembled slightly, but his expression was numb to the point of being icy cold. He had long been accustomed to these voices. From the moment his mother breathed her last, he knew that there was no one left in this world he could trust. Up until now, he still remembered everything from when his mother was dying. Those cold hands tightly gripping him, the sobbing echoing in his ears. Jianwei, you can't survive alone. Rather than suffering in this world, it's better to leave with me. That rainy night was like a nightmare from which one could not wake up. He originally wanted to follow his mother and go, but ultimately couldn't bear to let her corpse be exposed on the streets. Mother, wait a little longer. Ye Jianwei murmured softly, his voice so light it almost dissipated. I will go see you very soon. The murmur abruptly stopped. He heard the rustling of clothes stop in front of him. Someone is here. After so long. For the first time someone had stopped. Did they want to buy him? Or did they want to ask something? Please. Please buy me. He abruptly knelt forward, his emaciated fingers grabbing a piece of cold fabric. 500 spirit stones is enough. For 5 years. No. 10 years is fine too. I am very capable. His voice was trembling, carrying a desperate all-or-nothing despair. You stood silently in front of the straw mat. The hem of your black brocade robe sweeping over the muddy water. Looking at this blind girl who will become the Zither heavenly emperor in the future. Yet at this moment kneeling and begging like a beggar. From under the straw mat next to her protruded half a livid finger. That was his mother's final resting place. Wubai Spirit Stones is merely Wubai Immortal Grade Spirit Stones. The lowest level currency in the 10 Directions Immortal Court. Even ordinary people could take it out. Who could have thought that with just this little price? One could buy a future heavenly emperor? When Ye Jianwei's hurried breathing slightly calmed down, he suddenly smelled a clear and cool aura. Without the slightest scent of cosmetics. As clean as fresh snow. Yet inexplicably making his freezing limbs feel a long-lost warmth. This aura came from a young boy. Money. You spoke and raised your hand. The guard behind you understood. And offered a bag of spirit crystals. 100 pieces. 1 spirit crystal equals Ye Chen spirit jades. 1 spirit jade equals Ye Chen immortal grade spirit stones. This bag alone is 100 million immortal grade spirit stones. Not enough. You said flatly. Take out however much you brought. Ultimately, the guard scraped together 11 bags of spirit crystals. You weighed them in your hand. Threw the bags down. And said without looking back. After going back, enter my treasure pavilion. Each person may pick one item. Thank you, young master. The 2 guards were ecstatic. The others hiding in the dark secretly gnashed their teeth. Envy flashing in their eyes. Spirit crystals are merely cultivation resources. The family distributes them every month. But the items in your treasure pavilion, any random piece is enough to stir up a storm of blood. The bags of spirit crystals smashed onto the bluestone slab. A ray of rosy light leaked from the slightly open crevices. The surrounding cultivators' breathing stagnated. Shock and greed appearing in their eyes. If not for the 2 guards standing there, they would probably have swarmed up long ago. Although Ye Jianwei couldn't see, he could feel the sudden change in atmosphere. As well as that echoing in his ears. The crisp sound of spirit stones hitting the ground. I'm buying you. The child's voice carried unquestionable majesty. Ye Jianwei's hollow eyes suddenly contracted. Not knowing if it was an illusion. When this sentence fell, the entire street became eerily quiet. Even the sound of the wind froze. As if a ray of light suddenly shone down. These are spirit crystals. 100 pieces, you said flatly. To buy your entire lifetime. Young master. His voice was hoarse. His fingers unconsciously gripping the corner of his clothes. I am not worth this much. The mud-stained fingertips gently pushed the spirit crystal bags back. She lowered her head. Her voice so light it almost dissipated. I don't want spirit crystals. As long as young master helps me bury my mother. And gives me 1 meal a day from now on. My life is yours. The rain stains on the bluestone slabs had not dried. Reflecting the hem of your black brocade robe. You lowered your eyes to look at this future Zither, heavenly emperor. Who at this moment was like a drenched baby bird. Trembling with fear even when receiving a gift. Suddenly you smiled. With this kind of character, no wonder he could become a heavenly emperor in the future. My name is Qin Wangchuan. You bent over and picked up the spirit crystal bags. Along with a warm jade pendant. And forcefully stuffed them into his palm. Remember this well. From now on your life belongs to me. And you live only for me. Qin Wangchuan. He murmured repeatedly. As if wanting to carve these 3 words into his bones and blood. You didn't respond further. But turned your head to the guard and said. Go prepare a coffin. The best one. Yes. The guard didn't move. But merely waved his hand into the distance. His duty was to protect you. Menial tasks naturally had others to handle them. Ye Jianwei was still kneeling on the ground. His eye sockets feeling slightly hot. Years of suffering had almost made him forget the feeling of peace of mind. His mother wouldn't have to be exposed in the wilderness. This was better than anything else. You stood quietly for a moment. Sweeping your gaze over the surroundings. According to the trajectory in the simulation. That mysterious person who gifted the 9 heavens Zither Emperor scripture should be appearing. At this moment rain mist permeated over the bluestone slabs. A man in a core raincoat walked over with steady steps. This was a man of about 30 years old. With sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. He had a fortune teller's banner on his back. And a bamboo tube hanging at his waist. With copper coins bouncing inside. Little girl. He walked to Ye Jianwei, lifted his bamboo hat, and was about to speak. When suddenly his pupils shrank. In the place where according to the hexagrams there should have been only one person. There was now unexpectedly a 5-year-old child. That child was dressed entirely in black clothes. and was gazing at him with deep eyes unsuited for his age. The coir raincoat man's slender fingers subconsciously formed a hand seal. But this calculation unexpectedly failed to calculate anything. The heavenly secrets were chaotic. The fate profile was completely non-existent. As if what sat there was not a living person, but a sharp sword cutting off the long river of heavenly secrets. How bizarre! A look of shock appeared on his bronze face. Walking through the 3,000 provinces for thousands of years, he had never encountered such a completely incalculable fate profile. Never mind. You two little kids. I have a cultivation method here. Considering that you two share a destiny with me. Who wants it? The fortune teller's gaze wandered between the two. He was only responsible for giving the cultivation method away. As for who he gave it to, it wasn't important. He secretly concluded in his heart. It will definitely be this boy who wants it. The boy looks more mature. The blind girl cannot see, so she naturally wouldn't know the preciousness of this item. But the next second, he guessed wrong. Give it to him. You spoke flatly. The fortune teller became interested, raising the jade slip in his hand. Do you know what this cultivation method in my hand is? I don't know. Then why don't you want it? It is more suitable for him. If I tell you, this is a supreme treasure capable of changing destinies? Give it to him anyway. Give it to him anyway. Just a few short words. But they burned Ye Jianwei's chest hot like a fire. Why? Was it because he was too weak? Or was it just because you pitied him? Or did you simply not care about this so-called supreme treasure? But no matter which one it was, it shouldn't be like this. He had seen too many people fight until their heads bled over a few spirit stones. Or a mouthful of food. Even family members killing each other and brothers turning against one another. But you were different. You just casually pushed it to him like that. Give it to him anyway. This sentence echoed in his mind over and over again. Like a stone cast into the center of a lake, stirring up layers of ripples. That couldn't be calmed for a long time. He tightly grasped the jade slip handed over by the fortune teller, his knuckles turning white. Yet his heart felt as if it had been fiercely gripped by something, both sour and swelling. So there really was someone who would treat him like this. It wasn't charity. It wasn't pity. But truly willing to give him good things. Suddenly his eye sockets grew hot. And he hurriedly lowered his head, deeply afraid of you seeing his loss of composure. But a voice deep in his heart was screaming madly. No matter how bitter the future is, I must respond to his expectations and repay him. The fortune teller pinched his fingertips lightly, his gaze shifting slightly. Although he couldn't calculate your fate profile, the origins of the two guards clearly surfaced in the flowing hexagrams at his fingertips. He raised an eyebrow, whispering with a half-smile. So it's people from the Qin family. His tone was plain, yet holding a trace of profound meaning. I still owe your family's ancestor a favor. He raised his hand and flipped it, and an ancient and unadorned sword art scroll appeared out of thin air. In that case, I have this 6-character sword art to gift you. Boy, learn the sword. The fortune teller seemed to see something through you. Suddenly he chanted loudly, his voice unfettered and unrestrained, echoing down the entire long street. The swordsman. One sword spans the heavens, making the stars turn cold. The solitary wind once reflected eternal sorrows. Let those heavens' prides compete in their elegance. I remain steadfast high above the clouds. You took the sword art and looked down. The brushstrokes were like swords, piercing through the back of the paper. With just one glance, a chilling sword chi rushed at your face, stinging your eyes with a slight pain. One must know that your entire body is made of immortal bones. And even emperor-grade cultivation methods can be browsed with ease. But this scroll of sword art, just a single character on the cover, burned your eyes like needles. Surpassing emperor-grade. Could it be left by a heavenly emperor? The person in front of you is actually a heavenly emperor. You suddenly looked up. But the fortune teller had long disappeared without a trace. Rumor has it that the heavenly swordly family's heavenly emperorly travels through the 3,000 Dao provinces, cultivating the great Dao of karma, forging myriad generations of good karma. You muttered to yourself in a low voice. Seeing it today, I finally know the rumors are not false. No wonder he would invest in Ye Jianwei. It turns out he calculated that he was destined to become an emperor. Thinking of this, you paused, recalling your own physique. Among the 3 great heavenly emperors, only the Qin family ancestor presides within his clan. The other 2 both travel the world, seeking ways to break through. It was also thanks to the lack of a heavenly emperor's intervention. that the Qin family's heaven-robbing plan went smoothly all the way. Otherwise how would those families sit by and watch you collect all the supreme bones and immortal bones? Did you really think they were kind-hearted? Ye Jianwei's fingers holding the jade slip trembled slightly. Although he couldn't see, he also learned from the few words and phrases that the fortune teller just now had an extraordinary status. The item given must be a supreme treasure. Young master. He suddenly turned to you and fell to his knees, holding the jade slip up high. This is too precious. I cannot take it. Moreover, giving it to me is a waste. I am blind. The jade slip glowed faintly in his palm, reflecting his knuckles as pale as snow. The puddles by the street reflected his tense profile, his eyelashes trembling lightly, like an ugly duckling fallen into a mud puddle. You let out a soft chuckle, reached out and rubbed his dry yellow hair. What's all this about yours and mine? Your fingertips brought forth a strand of chaotic immortal light, quietly nourishing his withered hair ends. You as a person are already mine. Why still care about these things? After going back I will also learn it, and teach you when the time comes. These words were spoken domineeringly, but they caused Ye Jianwei's tense shoulders to suddenly relax. He lowered his head and pressed the jade slip to his chest, as if confirming this was not an illusion. A whimper like a small beast escaped from his throat. It was the first time in 5 years that someone cherished him as their own. This reassured him more than charity and pity. However, just as he was burying his mother, a burst of noisy footsteps suddenly approached. Quick! Right ahead! Which blind fool dares to defy the Yi family in Qixia town? You raised an eyebrow, and a sneer hooked at the corner of your mouth. They're here. The people who were supposed to be waited for have arrived, and the family that should be annihilated has also come. Dozens of Yi family cultivators rushed over aggressively. The leading man in brocade clothes had a sinister face, the sword at his waist gleaming with a cold light. The third young master of the Yi family, Yi Li. Is it you who interfered in my Yi family's business? A trace of disdain had just flashed across Yi Li's eyes. The next second you couldn't even be bothered to lift your eyelids. An indifference unsuited for your age appeared on your immature face. So much nonsense. Slap! A slap resounded through the long street. A massive force unsuited for your age sent Yi Li's entire body flying horizontally outwards, smashing heavily onto the bluestone slab. Half of his face swelled up instantly, blood spilling from the corner of his mouth. The Yi family's third young master was sent flying by a slap from a 5-year-old child. You dare hit. Yi Li forcefully endured the intense pain, staggering to prop up his body. His bloodshot eyes stared fixedly at you. Before his harsh words could come out, the guard teleported to his front, a large hand clamping onto his throat like iron pincers. The speed was so fast it produced a sonic boom. The disdain in Yi Li's eyes instantly turned into terror. His throat bones made cracking sounds under the massive force, as if they would shatter in the next second. Watch your words, the guard said coldly. A trace of purple light flashed by. Boom! Everyone from the Yi family was completely annihilated into smoke. Subsequently, you led everyone to the Yi family. A moment later, a giant palm that blotted out the sky crashed down towards the direction of the Yi family. The Yi family members were suppressed to their knees, with nowhere to flee, and nowhere to hide. There was no booming sound. There were no screams. When the giant palm dissipated, the original Yi family compound had turned into a glazed giant crater 100 zhang deep. The Yi family along with half of Qixia town was completely erased. The Yi family is destroyed. Old Zhou kneeling on the ground muttered blankly. Such a massive family actually turned to ash in the blink of an eye. Shock and fear instantly lingered in everyone's hearts. Just a quasi-emperor can utilize laws. If a great emperor got serious, what kind of scene would that be? You looked at the vanished Yi family with myriad thoughts. Chaotic immortal light flowed, isolating the pressure on the outside. Turning your head to look at Ye Jianwei. Her small face was pale, but she stubbornly did not utter a single sound. You raised your hand and covered her with a wisp of aura. Your voice was calm unlike a child's. The Yi family is completely destroyed. The mortal ties are severed. Bury your mother properly. From today onwards you only need to stay by my side and cultivate. So it was done for me? Ye Jianwei's fingertips unconsciously tightened around the fabric of her clothes. When those 4 words fell into his ears, it was like a spark falling into frozen soil. Mortal ties are severed. He suddenly realized. The nails his mother dug into his shoulders on her deathbed. The bloody smell that seeped into the straw mat on that rainy night. Those nightmares that had entangled him for 5 years were actually brushed away lightly by this single sentence. The astral wind from the immortal skiff turning lifted her skirt hem. Strands of hair swept across her cheek, bringing a slight stinging pain. She should have been identifying the aura of her enemies in this gust of wind. But she only smelled the clear cool cedar scent coming from you. So this is what it feels like to be protected. Ye Jianwei's eyelashes trembled lightly, and he replied in a low voice yes. This word was uttered extremely softly, but it was like a key unlocking the gate of destiny. My life is yours now. A distant scent of blood came in the wind, but he did not look back again. The immortal skiff soon arrived at the Qin family's ancestral land. When the flying skiff landed, Qin Wenhe had already been waiting with people for a long time. He took a deep look at the scruffy Ye Jianwei behind you, stepped forward and said respectfully, "Your Highness the Ancestor requests your presence." You nod your head, but are not in a hurry to set off. Instead you say to the guard, "First go and give his mother a lavish burial." Understood. The guard respectfully took the order. Witnessing all the previous events, everyone had already developed a sense of awe towards you, this young prince. You looked at Ye Jianwei again. You follow along too, and see your mother off on her final journey. Ye Jianwei's body trembled slightly, and said in a low voice, "Yes, young master." Seeing him in rags, with withered and yellow hair, you instructed a maid. "After it's done, take him to my pavilion to wash up and change clothes." This servant understands. The maid bowed and replied, "Having finished your instructions, you followed Qin Wenhe to the Grand Ancestor Hall." Stepping into the hall, Qin Tai slowly opened his eyes, his gaze like a fathomless abyss and sea. "Chuaner, come here." You stepped forward and bowed. Ancestor. Qin Tai went straight to the point. "What is going on with your origin?" You blinked your eyes, tilted your small face, and revealed a cute, endearing smile. Replying to Ancestor, "Your grandson is not clear either." Your voice was clear and bright. Chaotic immortal light flowed around your body. "I just suddenly felt something awaken in my body, and my cultivation became much faster. When it's time to play dumb, play dumb." Qin Tai's withered fingers gently tapped the armrest. Ripple-like Dao charms arose in the hall. This heavenly emperor who had lived for over 1,000,000 years suddenly laughed. "Are you truly not clear? Or pretending not to be clear?" The phenomenon of all things being born in his right, I accelerated its flow. While the galaxy in his left, I suddenly solidified. Do you know that after an ordinary cultivator's origin reaches its limit, it is hard for them to make an inch of progress for the rest of their lives? Even if a great emperor exhausts 1,000 years, they might not be able to increase a single trace of origin. The sandalwood incense in the hall condensed into substance, sketching the phantom of an undying divine tree between you two. Qin Tai tapped his fingertips lightly, and the divine tree bloomed with radiant light. But you, the phantom of the divine tree, trembled violently, actually projecting 10 chaotic halos around your body. Each one contained an aura that made heaven and earth tremble. The 10th one even faintly possessed a charm transcending this realm. Within 10 days, your origin skyrocketed several times over, seemingly without an upper limit. Qin Tai's voice was unprecedentedly solemn. Such a divine miracle this old man has never seen, even when proving my Dao to the heavens and earth. Your heart stirred slightly. You already knew the origin rewarded by the system was extraordinary, but you didn't expect it would even shock a heavenly emperor. Just as you were about to speak, you suddenly saw a bronze compass fly out of the Ancestor's sleeve. The compass suspended in midair, its surface engraved with the phantom of the 3,000 Dao provinces. Qin Tai flicked his finger, and a drop of Emperor's blood glowing with golden light fell into the center of the compass. It's fine if you truly don't know. Let this old man see what kind of existence is helping you. The compass spun madly. The spiritual energy of the entire Qin family ancestral land was instantly drained. A moment later the compass stopped spinning. How bizarre! This heavenly emperor stood up holding the compass. A karma that even the heavenly secret compass cannot calculate. Chuana, you carry a grand secret on you. Isn't it a grand secret? A stupid system. Just as you wanted to speak, the Ancestor suddenly bent over and pressed his withered palm on your shoulder. You don't need to tell this old man the details. The fewer people who know about such a divine miracle the better. You were stunned. You didn't expect the Ancestor to react like this. No pressing questions. No prying investigations. Only unreserved trust and protection. Your grandson understands. You nodded solemnly. A certain corner of your heart quietly loosened. Is this what a family is? Even when facing a miracle beyond comprehension, the first reaction is still to protect, rather than covet. Qin Tai stroked his beard in satisfaction, then suddenly shifted the topic. Tell this old man about that blind girl you brought back. Her name is Ye Jianwei. Your eyes lit up. Your grandson foresaw in a dream. This girl will definitely become a heavenly emperor in the future. The galaxy and the ancestors left. I rolled backwards. Let this old man take a look. Formless divine sense swept across the Qin family, instantly locking onto Ye Jianwei, who was burying her mother in the back mountain. A moment later Qin Tai frowned slightly. Average bone root. Blind in both eyes. This is the life force in his right eye suddenly surged. So that's how it is. A natural-born Dao Heart. Although one of the 7 apertures is damaged, it covertly conforms to the logic that the great Dao is flawed. What a fine piece of unpolished jade. No wonder that old geezer would lend him a hand. It's just that he also didn't calculate that in the end he was actually making a wedding dress for you. As a heavenly emperor, he naturally also calculated the karma of the Li family tainted on Ye Jianwei. With just a pinch of his fingers he deduced the cause and effect, including the matter of you obtaining the sword art. Qin Tai suddenly revealed a profound smile. Do you know why the old man from the Li family gifted you the sword art? He said he owed you a favor, you replied. The ancestors suddenly burst into loud laughter. Oh my ass. That old thing is the shrewdest of all. He definitely saw that the karma you carry is even more astonishing than his was back in the day. This is forming good karma in advance. The laughter gradually stopped, and Qin Tai said seriously. Chuaner, our Qin family, and the Li family are both famous for sword arts. But do you know why the title of Heavenly Sword fell to the Li family? I do not know. Is it because of the sword art? No. It should be called a sword seal. He turned to look at the sea of clouds outside the hall. His voice ethereal. In ancient times a mighty figure emerged from the Li family, comprehended the 6 kills sword seal, and founded the Emperor clan. The descendants continuously perfected it. Only then did the current 7 kills sword seal come to be. Its power is truly terrifying. Cultivate it well. You might just be able to comprehend their Li family's precious sword seal. Is it that powerful? You took out the sword art. Being able to make the ancestor say the word's power is truly terrifying, is enough to show how fearsome the sword seal is. After thinking for a moment, you handed the sword art over. Then let's copy a few portions and place them in the scripture pavilion for people to study. Anyway, Senior Li didn't say I could only use it myself. Qin Tai's face showed a look of surprise. His withered fingers stroked the sword art. Galaxies flowed in his eyes, as if deducing something. You want to distribute this thing? You blinked your eyes, your immature face carrying confusion. Is that not allowed? The ancestor shook his head and chuckled. It's not exactly not allowed. It's just Chuaner. His voice sank slightly, carrying a warning. The reason why a serendipity is because it is unique. If only you have it, you will be a unique, unparalleled heaven's pride. But if you distribute it, and everyone has it, your advantage will cease to exist. He tapped the jade slip lightly with his fingertip, his tone profound. A cultivation method created by a heavenly emperor is an absolute treasure to ordinary people. But if everyone cultivates it, how can you guarantee that you will still be able to ride above the rest? Hearing this, however, a sneer hooked the corner of your mouth. An arrogance unsuited for your age appeared in your eyes. Ancestor is worrying too much. Your voice was clear and bright, yet it revealed unquestionable confidence. No matter how strong the sword art is, it is nothing more than someone else's Dao. To me it amounts to nothing. What's more? You narrowed your eyes slightly, and gently pressed your small hand against your chest. The immortal bones all over your body resonated, emitting a faint hum. For the same cultivation method, cultivated by different people, the effects will be worlds apart. I bear the longevity immortal body. My origin far exceeds that of ordinary people, and I have the blessing of the immortal bones. If I don't even have this bit of confidence, what right do I have to talk about proving the Dao as an immortal emperor? A great emperor is the endpoint for ordinary people, but not mine. The heavenly emperor realm is also merely a starting point. My goal is the immortal emperor realm, and even above the immortal emperor realm. Immortal bones, immortal body plus the system. If all this cannot make me ascend to the absolute peak, it only goes to show that I am too much of a noob. As soon as the words fell, boom! In the sky above the Qin family's ancestral land, the wind and clouds suddenly changed. The great Dao manifested. actually startling the great Dao because of a single sentence. This could no longer be explained by extraordinary talent, but was a true heaven-defying declaration, triggering the resonance of heaven and earth. In the sea of clouds of the 10 directions immortal court, the fishing rod in the hands of the fishing heavenly emperor Li suddenly snapped. He looked up abruptly, his gaze piercing through the endless void, looking towards the direction of the Qin family. Is this someone questioning the realm of the immortal emperor? At this moment in the ninefold heavenly palace of the upper 1,000 provinces, Heavenly Emperor Ji amidst the high mountains and clouds suddenly opened his eyes. The space around him instantly froze. Above the immortal emperor? He looked towards the position of the Qin family, above the celestial vault. You old thief Qin, you've raised a monster. After Qin Tai's shock passed, he was momentarily stunned, and then burst into loud laughter, full of gratification. Good. What an immortal emperor. What a same cultivation method. Cultivated by different people. He clapped his hands in admiration. Chuaner, this temperament of yours is actually 30% more arrogant than this old man was back then. A great era is about to begin. Our Qin family shall be the #1 clan in all the heavens and myriad worlds. He changed the topic, and a gilded token condensed in his palm. The front was engraved with the 2 characters Tai. From today onwards, you may go to visit the undying divine tree at any time. That is a truly great serendipity. Your eyes lit up slightly. You cupped your hands in a bow. Thank you, Ancestor. Qin Tai waved his hand, his eyes carrying deep meaning. Go on. As for the little maid you brought back, supply her with orthodox 3rd-grade resources. But you must first plant your brand on her. This old man wants to see just how far she can go. Meanwhile, on the other side, Ye Jianwei had finished burying her mother, and was returning with the guards. I suddenly heard that 9th brother picked up a little wild cat and brought it back. A delicate and crisp voice came over. Qin Zhaoer lifted her skirt hem and walked over gracefully. The 9-year-old girl was already beginning to show a slender figure. Her fingertips twirled the tassels of the jade pendant at her waist. The golden phoenix on her crimson silk skirt sparkled in the sunlight. Since when could any random cat or dog enter our Qin family? She tilted her head, the pearl hairpin in her hair swaying slightly, her almond eyes brimming with innocent malice. My mistake. It can't even be considered a cat or a dog. The sweet voice suddenly lowered, oozing venom. A blind person is also worthy of entering my Qin family? Ye Jianwei's voice was hoarse. Her emaciated fingers suddenly tightened, nails digging into her palms. However, before the coercion could fall, it is you who is being presumptuous. An angry shout exploded like thunder. Caught off guard, Qin Zhaoer and her guards were pressed flat onto the blue jade bricks. Hairpins scattered, skirts stained with dust. Where was the arrogant look from just a moment ago? She struggled to look up, directly meeting your icy eyes. 8th sister. Your clear, cool child's voice made everyone's hearts tremble. Qin Zhaoer squeezed out a sickly sweet smile. 9th brother sister is helping you discipline your servant. Young master. Ye Jianwei's hollow eyes welled up with tears. Her cracked lips trembled. There were too many emotions hidden in that call. From despair to grievance. From powerlessness to reassurance. Like a lost young beast finally sniffing the scent of its nest. It's all right now. You brushed over her withered hair ends. Just 3 short words. But it caused her tense spine to suddenly relax. You turned your head to look at Qin Zhaoer. 8th sister has such great prestige. To actually start disciplining my people. So impressive. The immature child's voice carried a hint of mockery. But those eyes, as deep as a sea of stars, were covered in frost. You gave the guard a slight look, and the coercion dissipated. Qin Zhaoer looked up with a guilty conscience. Meeting your icy eyes, she instinctively let out 2 awkward laughs. Fine cold sweat seeping from her forehead. 9th brother sister was wrong. Being a highness as well. She actually isn't bad-natured. Just immature in temperament. Arrogant, unreasonable, and xenophobic. Clearly the older sister. But acts like a bratty little girl. She had been taught a lesson several times before. Yet she still hasn't learned her lesson. Since you know your mistake, then accept your punishment. As soon as your immature voice fell, Qin Zhaoer's pupils shrank abruptly. Her fingertips painted with cardamom polish gripped her skirt hem. It can't be that, can it? Before she could react, 2 female guards had already held her up. Please forgive us, 8th Highness. How presumptuous. I am the 8th Highness. Her voice suddenly pitched higher. Qin Wangchuan. I am your older sister. Exactly because of that you need to be disciplined even more. You took the jade ruler from the guard's hands. 20 strikes. A small punishment as a great warning. Qin Zhaoer's face turned pale. No. No way. I'm already so big. You can't spank me. A corner of the crimson silk skirt was lifted, revealing the silk lining trousers underneath. The surrounding guards and maids turned their heads away one after another, not daring to look further. Smack! The jade ruler fell. A crisp sound echoed. Qin Zhaoer's body trembled, her earlobes turning bright red. Qin Wangchuan ah. It's just a blind person, is this really necessary? Smack! The second strike was even heavier. She bit her lip, her eye sockets turning red. As the jade ruler fell time and time again, Qin Zhaoer went from angry cursing to gradually sobbing. By the 15th strike she finally begged for mercy. Ninth brother, I know I was wrong. What were you wrong about? Wrong for bullying the blind person. Smack! The jade ruler fell again. Qin Zhaoer's whole body trembled violently, her slender waist stiffening. Her 10 fingers tightly grasped the guard's clothes, her knuckles turning pale. She bit her red lips, the tears at the corners of her eyes growing heavier. The moment the jade ruler fell, the intense pain was like raging fire scorching her body. But in a flash it turned into a bizarre numbness and tingling. It was actually the same as last time, carrying an indescribable and inexplicable sense of pleasure. Like millions of ants itching from her skin into the tip of her heart. The most shameful part was that a soft moan almost escaped from her throat. This realization made her both ashamed and at a loss. You were wrong for bullying my person. My person. This sentence struck into Ye Jianwei's chaotic world like a thunderbolt. For the first time since birth, someone regarded him as one of their own, and protected him behind their back. So this is what it feels like to be protected. His hollow eyes widened slightly, his cracked lips trembling. Those punches and kicks suffered in Qixia town. The insults heard suddenly felt distant at this moment, replaced by a subtle sense of reassurance. You only stopped after hitting the full 20 strikes, putting away the jade ruler. Remember today's lesson. When Qin Zhaoer was helped up, tear stains still hung on her face, forcefully suppressing the strange sensation. Clutching her burning buttocks, she spoke with a crying tone. Woo! I know. Ninth brother is the most annoying. She stomped her foot and turned around, the jade pendants at her waist clinking messily, and almost tripped over her skirt hem. You watched her retreating back, and said to Ye Jianwei, in some ways this place is 100 times more dangerous than the outside. Do not harbor any illusions of luck. The immature voice revealed an icy chill unsuited for your age. Tomorrow I will teach you cultivation. Get stronger. Become so strong that no one can bully you. No one dares to bully you. Ye Jianwei's straight spine lost its backbone at this moment. He slowly bent his knees, and pressed his forehead against the cold floor tiles. His voice was clear yet firm. I will listen entirely to the young master. This future heavenly emperor secretly swore in his heart. This is the first time, and the last time hiding behind the young master. Next time and forever after, it will be his turn to protect the young master. Several days later. Young master, I can see. Under your guidance, Ye Jianwei's Zither skills finally reached the introductory stage. He could rely on the reverberation of Zither sounds to perceive everything around him. He sat before the Zither with his eyes closed, his long slender eyelashes trembling lightly. While speaking he carefully reached out a hand, his fingertips tracing in the void. After changing into a new set of clothes, the girl had transformed like an ugly duckling. Although still immature, she already showed the beginnings of beautiful features. She was quite pleasing to the eye. Only outlines, without colors. Is the world in young master's eyes also like this? Her voice carried childlike novelty and joy. You quietly watched her. A trace of profoundness unsuited for your age flashed through the 5-year-old child's eyes. Slowly shaking your head no. This world is much more wonderful than that. You pressed down on her trembling wrist, and guided her fingertips back towards the zither strings. Take it slowly, this is just the beginning. You will be able to see more in the future. Ye Jianwei tilted her head up, and suddenly grabbed your sleeve. Her hollow eyes shimmered with a faint light. Then does that mean one day in the future, I will be able to see young master's face? In his eyes he could only see your outline. And that was still utilizing the reverberation of zither sounds. If the zither sounds dissipated, the outline would quickly vanish as well. He didn't like it this way. You were rarely stunned. You didn't expect that her first words after regaining her sight would be like this. You thought she would go see her mother first. You solemnly gave a positive answer, you will. Upon receiving the reply, Ye Jianwei nodded heavily. With a soft she continued to practice the Zither. Her eyes condition belonged to a deficiency of origin at birth. It was incurable by medicine. Originally, Ye Jianwei was pushed forward amidst countless setbacks and tribulations. You were worried that bringing him back to the Qin family would affect his growth. Looking at it now, you were overthinking. Ye Jianwei was practicing the Zither on the side. And you naturally weren't idle either. Also pondering over the sword art. Under A Shi X Comprehension Multiplier. The book had long been thoroughly digested. You closed your eyes and the 6-character sword art appeared in your mind. Li Zhan Xian Yun Yuzhu. These 6 characters dictate the laws with words. Every single character contains supreme sword intent. It was laughable to say. Not only did your Zither skills reach great mastery. You had already seen through the sword art 5 days ago. Yet a question constantly lingered in your mind. This sword art's power is only average. The first 2 characters and the middle 2 characters can respectively produce a combined effect. 1 Li 1 Zhan. 1 suspended 1 fallen. The character defend for defense. The character execute for precise killing. Although it can attack and defend. But is it really related to the sword seal? You frown slightly. Besides, what exactly is a sword seal? That's right, possessing heaven-defying comprehension. Merely comprehending sword arts cannot satisfy you. Whether you can further comprehend the Li family's sword seal is the fundamental key. You suddenly open your eyes. A sword qi about an inch long condenses at the fingertips of the 5-year-old child. That sword qi flows in your palm. Sometimes transforming into the character stand. Sometimes changing into the character slash. As the 6 characters rotate, there is actually a faint echo of the great Dao's sound. Young master. Ye Jianwei notices the anomaly. The lute music abruptly stops. Although he cannot see, he can feel the fierce sword intent in the air. You do not answer. Just staring at the sword qi in your palm. The next moment the sword qi dissipates. It seems this is the limit. You look down and sigh. Sword arts are merely the methods to perform sword techniques. In essence, they are no longer related to the sword itself. How can it be comprehended then? Perhaps I took the wrong path. It seems I need to find someone who truly understands swords. Aside from the patriarch, the one with the highest sword accomplishment in the Qin family is not among the elders, but the 5th scion Qin Qingwei. This person is obsessed with sword techniques. Born with an emperor's sword accompanying him. His cultivation consists of year-round seclusion to comprehend the sword, rarely showing his face. If I can get his guidance, perhaps I can glimpse the secret of the sword seal. I am going out for a bit. You stand up, glance at Ye Jianwei and say, continue practicing your lute. No need to follow me. Yes, Ye Jianwei nods in response. His fingertips pluck the lute strings again. The lute sound flows like running water, blending with the spiritual energy in the courtyard. You walk away with your guards for only a few steps. When passing by the martial arts arena, a charming figure flashes out from the corner of the corridor, blocking your way. Oh my, isn't this our 9th brother? The newcomer wears a goose yellow gauze dress. The wealthiest 7th scion in the Qin family. Even the elders have to borrow money from her. Qin Miaoyan and the 8th scion Qin Zhaoer are full sisters. You pause, your steps expressionless. 7th sister, is there something? Of course there is. Qin Miaoyan leans in close, lowering her voice mysteriously and saying, 9th brother. Your sister here has a good way to make money. Wanna join in? Not interested, you say, stepping around her to leave. If it were anyone else you might look into it a bit. But the person in front of you is Qin Miaoyan. To summarize her in 2 words, it's profiteer. She once scammed a rival family out of a spirit mine in the name of investment, and even made them feel deeply grateful. Last time too, you received some useless gifts at your 5-year-old banquet. She came to your door saying she would recycle them at a high price. A golden lotus bead capable of beautifying one's appearance. You let her have it for 1,000 bottles of spirit marrow. Only after inquiring later did you find out that thing was worth at least 50,000 bottles of spirit marrow. There are quite a few similar examples. There are many people offering high prices to buy your information. She blinked. For example, what you love to eat. What colors you like. Where you like to go on normal days. In short, all intelligence regarding you. Someone is willing to buy it for a huge price. You frown. What do you mean? What else could it mean? Qin Miaoyan throws her hands up. Marriage alliances are approaching. Every family wants to figure out your preferences in advance. so they can cater to your tastes. Marriage alliance? You suddenly widen your eyes. Who is getting married? You are. Me? Yes. The two of you stare at each other wide-eyed. The air freezes for a moment. You stay silent for a moment before speaking slowly. I am getting married? Why don't I know about this? You don't know? Qin Miaoyan feigns surprise. The patriarch just announced it a few days ago, saying that you have reached the age for marriage, and has already released the news to start looking for candidates. You? 5 years old? Marriage? Seeing your subtle expression, Qin Miaoyan cannot help but burst into laughter. What's wrong, ninth brother? Feeling shy? Don't worry, your sister's intelligence business is booming. As long as you are willing to cooperate, I guarantee you will hold the initiative. When the time comes, you'll definitely have the upper hand. You take a deep breath, turn around and walk away. But after thinking about it, you turn back around. Since this kind of thing cannot be avoided anyway, might as well make a fortune out of it. And also gather some intelligence. Let's agree on how to split it first. 460. Qin Miaoyan asks tentatively. Of course it's 4 for you, 6 for me. You look at her expressionlessly. 370. What? Qin Miaoyan widens her eyes. The abacus in her hand almost slips away. Ninth brother, you're being unreasonable now. I work so hard to contact the buyers. And take the risks. It's 370. 7 for me, 3 for you. You interrupt her long-winded speech. With an unquestionable tone. At this, Qin Miaoyan's eyes roll, immediately putting on an aggrieved expression. How about 50-50? Otherwise your sister. If you don't agree, I'm leaving. You say this and turn to leave. Wait. Qin Miaoyan hurriedly grabs your sleeve. 370 will do, 370 as you said. She bites her lip, adding with a pained look on her face. This is a money-losing business now. While saying this, she clacks her abacus loudly, the corners of her mouth slightly unable to suppress a smile. Believing she would lose money is like believing the idiotic system has no problems. You glance at her. Selling my intelligence. How are you losing anything? Qin Miaoyan is instantly speechless, awkwardly letting go of your hand, muttering softly about always needing to grease palms and the like, turning away dejectedly, walking a few steps before turning back and shouting. Remember to write the list of preferences in detail. Your favorite snacks, things and colors you like, and so on. Just as you are about to respond, you suddenly hear a lazy light chuckle from above. You're quite in demand. Your heart tightens slightly. With your perception, you actually didn't notice someone was right beside you. Looking towards the sound, you only see a green robe casually spread across the branches of an ancient tree. Second brother. The young man nods. As a response, second scion Qin Xuanji. Innate Dao fetus. Extraordinary comprehension. Mild and modest on the surface, but actually possessing extremely deep schemes. Skilled at playing the pig to eat the tiger. And also fond of disguise. Rumor has it that he wears at least 20 to 30 masks on his face. He's a sly schemer. What is second brother doing here? You ask. Qin Xuanji does not respond, but looks into the distance. Following his gaze, you see two figures on the martial arts arena, guiding the family disciples in their cultivation. Or rather, it could be called a one-sided slaughter. One person has his hands clasped behind his back, clad in clothes white as holy snow, speaking to a pillar with an indifferent tone. Your punch is not fast enough, nor is it ruthless enough. It is none other than first scion Qin Wudao, possessing the desolate ancient sacred body, unparalleled in combat power, hailed as the future heavenly emperor of the Qin family. Although his strength is formidable, and he's the king of posturing, unfortunately he is face-blind, has bad eyesight, infamous for being unable to remember faces, frequently mistaking elders, and can even mistake pillars and wooden stumps for people. He once mistook the patriarch for a sweeping servant, and told him not to block the way. As a result, he was punished by the patriarch to face the wall and reflect for 3 days. The other person is shirtless, with bulging muscles. His fist wind is fiercely unmatched. Hearing this, he laughs wildly. Ha ha ha, fight, let's fight. This one is even more of a heavyweight fourth scion Qin Kuanga, possessing the tyrant blood battle body. A complete martial arts fanatic. All day long he is either fighting, or on his way to a fight. These two standing together. One stands with hands behind his back talking to a pillar. One looks like a masochist, smiling happily while being besieged by a dozen people. TSK, looking at this is truly a bit hard to evaluate. You must not show off like them. Qin Xuanji retracts his gaze. His tone gentle. What this world lacks the least are geniuses. Only by hiding your capabilities and keeping your edge inward can you go further. All right, enough joking around. Qin Xuanji wipes his face and changes back to his original face, casually tossing down a pouch. I heard you took in a little maid whose origin is flawed. There are 10 innate divine sources inside. Although I can't guarantee they will be fully effective, it's still better than nothing. After saying this, he suddenly lowers his voice and says, regarding the marriage news just now, I have even more detailed intelligence here. The Patriarch has already decided to officially announce the candidate at your 10th birthday banquet. It is said that the scale of this banquet will be unprecedented, and all major orthodoxies will send people to attend. Does ninth brother have anything he particularly wants? You put away the divine sources safely. Say a word of thanks and shake your head. No. In that case, I will just figure out the gift myself. After bidding farewell to second brother, you temporarily have nowhere to go. Last time the Patriarch also said, the Li family's sword seal is extremely mysterious. He didn't have a clue either. Then who else is there to consult? Before the words even settle, a flash of inspiration suddenly crosses your mind. You remember the token the Patriarch gifted you before. You suddenly look up, with bright gleams flashing in your eyes. Right, the divine tree. Rumor has it that the divine tree not only has heaven-defying strength, but also knows the past and present, able to answer all doubts in the world. Since even the Patriarch couldn't comprehend the Li family's sword seal, perhaps it can give me the answer. You no longer hesitate. Flipping your right hand, the purple gold token instantly appears in your palm. Tapping your fingertip lightly on the token, a streak of green light envelopes you. The next moment your figure disappears from the spot. When you reappear, you are already standing in the midst of a vast ancient land. At the end, a towering ancient tree stands majestically. The trunk is as thick and sturdy as a dragon. Its branches and leaves blot out the sky and sun. The bark is covered with profound mysterious patterns, as if recording endless years. This is the divine tree. You step forward. Just after taking a few steps, suddenly the entire space trembles slightly. The branches and leaves of the ancient tree move without wind, rustling loudly. Immediately after, an ethereal female voice comes from all directions. Qin Wangchuan. The voice is elusive, yet clearly calls out your name, as if resounding directly within your divine soul. You take a deep breath, cup your hands in a salute. Junior Qin Wangchuan has doubts and comes to seek guidance. As your voice falls, green light flows on the main trunk of the divine tree. A graceful figure slowly condenses into shape. That is a woman in green. Her face is pure, beautiful, and worldly transcendent. Her eyes are like stars. Her long hair is like a waterfall. Faint wood spirit energy lingers around her body. She steps on the void barefoot, arriving in front of you in just a few steps. A pair of eyes that is particularly special. She looks no older than 20. But those eyes seem to have seen all the vicissitudes of eternal ages. You came for the Li family's sword seal. The corners of her lips curve slightly, her voice ethereal. You nod exactly. Although I know the past and see through the future, this Li family's sword seal is indeed ingenious. The woman shakes her head. I cannot teach you anything. You freeze for a moment. Just as a hint of disappointment rises in your heart, you see her suddenly raise her hand and tap a finger on the center of your brow. However, I can let you see at once what a sword seal is. At this moment, a strange memory floods into your mind. You see a person holding a long sword. The sword hilt dances. The sword tip outlines. At the same time, a sword strike falls. The character / manifests in heaven and earth. Immediately, a giant sword is born from the void. Then it slashes down, tearing through the primordial chaos, dividing yin and yang. Wherever the sword light passes, all things live and die. Laws alter and change. That sword light is extremely pure, containing no fancy tricks, yet containing the most fundamental true intent of the sword Dao. This is the sword seal. The secret of the sword seal is not in the seal but in the sword. You snap back to reality from that sword strike, muttering to yourself. You seem to understand. Sword arts and the sword seal are indeed somewhat interconnected. The next moment the aura around you erupts uncontrollably. Fierce sword intent soars into the sky. Even the surrounding spiritual energy is stirred into endless churning. You urgently want a sword. Any sword will do. Seeming to see what you are thinking, the woman raises her hand and summons A branch automatically snaps off, falling into her palm. The next moment the branch flashes with green light, and actually transforms into a wooden sword. The sword body is ancient and simple, without edge or blade, yet faintly revealing a fierce intent. Then she tosses it casually. You reach out and grasp the wooden sword. In an instant the sword intent all over your body seems to finally have a breakthrough point. But don't rush, must not rush. Closing your eyes and concentrating your spirit. Replaying every movement you just saw in your mind. Suddenly you open your eyes. Raise the wooden sword. And trace trajectories in the void one after another. It is impressively the characters stand. The moment the character is formed, the ground trembles violently. A 10 tall spiritual energy sword tip bursts out from the earth, shooting straight into the clouds. Fierce sword chi surges in all directions. Even the surrounding mist is split into two. Your pupils shrink sharply. Your heart is incomparably shocked. A gleam of satisfied praise flashes in the woman's eyes. Not bad. You snap out of your daze, hastily asking, "Thank you, Senior." I haven't yet asked for Senior's title. The Qin family juniors all call me Wood Ancestor. The woman's figure gradually turns illusory, seeming about to return to the form of the ancient tree. Your aptitude is outstanding. If you encounter difficulties in the future, as long as you are within the Qin family's territory, chant my title, and I will naturally sense it. As the voice fades, her figure completely dissipates. The divine tree returns to calmness, as if everything just now was an illusion. With a flash of green light, you have been teleported back to where you started. You look down at the wooden sword in your hand. Your heart surges with emotion. So this is the sword seal. I suppose I've comprehended a rough prototype. Also I've found myself another backer. This backer Wood Ancestor is in a way much more formidable than the patriarch. After all, she is an existence who watched the Qin family rise all the way, and is enshrined as a sacred entity. I have a new move now. You are pondering over who to find for practice, when suddenly the system's cold prompt sounds in your mind. New task. The humiliation ends here. Task description. After receiving the help of this system's spirit stones and cultivation methods, you have already acquired initial strength. You have finally shaken off the name of a trash and started cultivating. But others are unaware of all this. The family disputes are becoming increasingly cruel. Your full sister, in order not to fall behind in the struggle, remembered that you still have some cultivation resources. So she wants to come and snatch them. Task objective. Defeat your full sister, making her kneel on the ground and beg for mercy. Additional condition. Defeat the opponent without being verbally humiliated by your sister. Task reward. Simulation count +1. Unlock sign-in function. Additional reward. Origin +10. Ow! Listening to this, your expression gradually turns peculiar. The first person to come to mind is Ye Jianwei. This kid has needed a beating since she was little. However, to be honest, the idiotic system is not only bubbling with stupidity, it's also half a beat too slow. Relying on your spirit stones and cultivation methods, it really knows how to put gold on its own face. Also, it only issues the task after you've already taught her a lesson. Then what about 8th sister, whom you taught a lesson earlier? Consider her lucky. And I have to complete the task without being humiliated? At this very moment, the image of 8th sister trembling like a baby chick after seeing you surfaces in your mind. Does this little brat have the guts for that? Sigh, I really didn't want it to be like this. You let out a long sigh, the corners of your mouth faintly turning up. But since it's a task, there's nothing to be done, right? Ye Jianwei is currently in her pavilion, hands on her hips, scolding the servants. Suddenly she shudders all over. The fine hairs on the back of her neck stand straight up, as if an invisible venomous snake has crawled up her spine. Ye Jianwei rubs her arms, muttering softly, weird. Why do I feel like someone is trying to harm me? It couldn't be ninth brother, could it? The scene shifts. What? You want to spar with me? Hearing your challenge, Ye Jianwei is taken aback at first. Then the corners of her mouth curl up uncontrollably. A flash of wild joy passes through her eyes. Usually, she couldn't make a move due to the patriarch. Even if she suffered a loss, she could only endure it. But now you actually deliver yourself to her door. All right. You said it yourself. Afraid that you might back out. She loudly accepts right away, and even sticks out her pinky finger to make a pinky promise. Whoever backs out is a dog. The news of the two of you sparring quickly spreads. Opening the bets. Opening the bets. Qin Miaoyan shouts loudly. With a smack, she shakes the abacus in her hand, amidst flickering spiritual light. A gilded gambling table appears out of thin air outside the martial arts arena. Ninth brother wins 1 pays 2. Eighth sister wins 1 pays 1.5. She taps lightly with her fingertips. 2 lines of glittering gold characters float above the gambling table. Then she adds, Spirit crystals and spirit marrow are both accepted without fail. Betting limit, 1,000 bottles of spirit marrow. Place your bets and step back. Hearing this, the surrounding disciples gather around one after another. Someone discusses in a low voice. The 7th scion is at it again. Last time when the 1st scion fought the 4th scion, the 4th scion ended up winning. I lost 100 bottles of spirit marrow. Me too. Clearly the 1st scion is stronger. I suspect there's some insider manipulation. A rare opportunity. Miss it and there won't be a next time. His voice was syrupy sweet. Yet it carried an irresistible allure. Better think carefully before placing your bets. After all, 9th brother might not necessarily lose. He is after all the Qilan's son, favored even by the Ancestor. As his voice fell, though they knew the 7th young master's profiteering nature, quite a few disciples still took out spirit crystals to bet. The spiritual light by the gambling table flashed continuously, recording every single transaction. Qin Miaoyan nodded with satisfaction, secretly delighted in her heart. Making a fortune, making a fortune. 9th brother, it's still not too late to admit defeat right now. Qin Zhaoer was dressed in a pure white gauze skirt. The jade pendant at her waist jingled. She raised her chin, her eyes flashing with excited light. Big sister doesn't know how to hold back. In case I hurt you. Your mouth twitched, but your immature voice carried an unquestionable confidence. 8th sister, please go ahead. Qin Zhaoer gave a cold snort, as if afraid you would regret it. Then big sister won't be polite. As she spoke, the aura of the 4th realm erupted forth. 4th realm, spirit path realm. Able to channel spiritual energy to strengthen oneself, or use spiritual arts. A blue light suddenly erupted from the 9-year-old girl's body. Spiritual energy overflowed, covering her entire body. She did not use an art, but instead tapped her toes and flickered right in front of you. Then threw out a punch. Seeing this, you did not dodge, but instead tapped your fingertip. The word defend appeared in the void. In an instant, a brilliant sword light emerged from thin air. It had no hilt, nor a tip. Only a segment of a blade lay across the void. Clang! The sound of clashing metal echoed through the clouds. The thunderous offensive was perfectly blocked by this blade out of thin air. What? Qin Zhaoer's pupils shrank suddenly. A sharp pain came from her fist, as if she had smashed into 10,000-year profound iron. She looked at that blade that appeared out of thin air in disbelief. After being hit, it was not stationary, but instead vibrated slightly like a real sword, dissipating the impact layer by layer. Ultimately, not even a shred of aftershock reached your body. Is this a spiritual art? Qin Zhaoer asked subconsciously. Then she immediately reacted. You are also in the 4th realm. You did not respond, only tapping your finger again. Then spoke. Stunt. As the word left your mouth, the void trembled. A 30-foot-high spirit energy sword tip broke out of the ground. The sword tip pointed directly at Qin Zhaoer. Qin Zhaoer's pupils shrank suddenly, but she quickly sneered. Her figure leaped up lightly like a swallow. Her toe tapped on the side of the sword tip, borrowing the force to flip backward, landing steadily several fathoms away. Hey, 9th brother. So what if you are in the 4th realm? A proud curve hooked at the corner of her mouth. Your spiritual art is too slow. You can't even touch the corner of my clothes. Before her voice finished, your gaze turned cold. Your lips parted slightly. Slay. The standing spirit energy sword tip suddenly trembled. The sword body instantly solidified, turning into a complete giant sword. Then it slashed down with the momentum of thunder. Qin Zhaoer's expression changed drastically. She tried to dodge in a hurry, but found that the sword intent had already locked all her paths of retreat. In the field there was no joy of victory on your face. Your immature face bore a calmness unsuitable for your age. You walked slowly in front of Qin Zhaoer, looking down at her from above. 8th sister, I win. Qin Zhaoer struggled to half kneel up, looking up at you, biting her lip. Suddenly burst out crying with a wah. Crying 9th brother is the most annoying. Why is she crying? The person who bullied me last time didn't even cry. You looked at the tearful Qin Zhaoer. The corner of your mouth rose slightly. You didn't take the opportunity to kick her while she was down. Instead you used your fingertip to lightly brush her red eyes. Your voice was very soft, with a bit of teasing, yet somehow reassuring. Alright, don't cry. Qin Zhaoer's crying paused. Tear droplets still hung on her eyelashes. But she suddenly looked up and glared at you. Who wants your fake kindness? She sobbed and slapped your hand away. Her nails painted with balsam scratched red marks on the back of your hand. It was clearly you who bullied people first. As she spoke, she was about to cry again. But suddenly caught sight of the red scratch on the young boy's hand. The crying instantly got stuck in her throat. She unconsciously twisted her skirt. Her blood-stained lips opened and closed a few times. Ultimately only squeezing out a muffled murmur with a nasal tone. Does it hurt? The moment the words left her mouth, she wanted to bite her tongue off. What kind of stupid question was that? Clearly her own bottom was still aching faintly even now. As those few sentences fell, the previously heavy competition instantly became cheerful. Task completed. Simulation count +1. Check-in system activated. Helping Qin Zhaoer up. You ignored the notification in your head about task completion. Instead you stared blankly at the ravine slashed out on the stage. This is what you realized after seeing the sword seal. Even without a sword in hand. Using the body as a sword. Using the finger as a sword. One could achieve this effect of words becoming law. Under the X origin bonus. Principles that others would take years to grasp. You understood them instantly. And even drew broader inferences. Simply defying the heavens. Far off in the martial arts field. First Prince Qin Wudao and second Prince Qin Xuanji stood side by side. Both were staring intently in this direction. With complex expressions. What do you think of ninth brother? Qin Xuanji asked while playing with an ancient copper coin in his hand. Qin Wudao stood with his hands behind his back. His white clothes moving without wind. Looking at the two stick figures on the stage, he spoke indifferently. This sword strike was very beautiful. Ninth brother's defeat was not in vain. Stop. Qin Xuanji suddenly grabbed his shoulder. With the other hand pointing toward the distant field. His voice carrying laughter he couldn't hold back. Look clearly. The winner is ninth brother. The loser is eighth sister. Qin Wudao's sword-like brows knitted slightly. He looked intently. He really couldn't see any difference. He only saw two stick figures standing on the stage. The air suddenly went silent. Qin Xuanji let out a sigh. Took a jade box from his sleeve and stuffed it into his hand. Did you not eat that innate divine origin I gave you last time? Just use it. You really need to nourish yourself. Otherwise, if you ask me, you might as well dig those eyes out. I've raised you so well since you were young. How did you grow up so crookedly? Indeed. The divine origin given to Qin Wangchuan last time was just incidental. It was mainly found for Qin Wudao. Taking a deep sigh, Qin Xuanji cast his gaze toward the distance again. The recent events about you flashed through his mind. Ninth brother, oh ninth brother. He whispered to himself. A meaningful smile hooked at the corner of his mouth. Just how many secrets are you hiding? Since big brother grew up crooked. Perhaps ninth brother can be raised. The copper coin flipped in the air. Finally landing steadily back in his palm. Heads up. Great auspiciousness. Qin Xuanji narrowed his eyes. Interesting gets stronger. The brighter the light. The larger the shadow. And the better I can hide. Before his voice finished, a sneer suddenly came from his side. Hiding and lurking. The way of a rat. A blind man like you has the nerve to talk about me. Meanwhile, in the sea of clouds of the 10 directions Immortal Court, Emperor Li held a green bamboo fishing rod. Sitting quietly atop the clouds. The fishing line dropped 10,000 fathoms. Deep into the sea of clouds. Suddenly his fingertip paused slightly. The fishing line trembled gently. As if a fish was biting the hook. But in the next moment, his brow twitched. His gaze pierced through endless void. Looking toward the Qin family direction. Interesting, he gave a light laugh. Casually set the fishing rod aside. Turning to look at the person beside him. Old man Qin, this little grandson of yours is indeed defying the heavens. Emperor Li's voice carried a hint of admiration. His fingertip lightly tapped the void. As the sea of clouds surged. The scene of you in the martial arts field actually emerged. In just a few days. Not only did he fully digest the sword manual, but even realized the prototype of the sword seal. In time, he will surely be able to truly grasp the sword seal. And even comprehend the 8th seal. Qin Tai stood with hands behind his back. He gave a sneer upon hearing this. If he realizes it's his. What does it have to do with you? Emperor Li was not annoyed. Instead he smiled even more meaningfully. How is it not related? What's yours or mine? Aren't we all going to be one family in the future? Qin Tai gave a cold snort, thinking quite beautifully. You old man Li owe me a huge favor. Hearing this Emperor Li immediately stared back with a huff, waving his hand. Don't pull that on me. The girl with the highest talent in my Li family for the past 10,000 years was given to you. What more do you want? Not enough. As those two words fell, the sea of clouds surged violently, as if invisible sword intent was oscillating. But in the next moment, this sword intent seemed to dissipate like a leak. Sai, forget it. Emperor Li waved his hand, picked up the fishing rod again and looked into the distance. There's no way, no way. I can't do it. The Li family disciples can't do it. Then we can only find a way elsewhere. Otherwise the Li family will be destroyed. As the only Imperial clan that treats techniques as sacred objects, the Li family's situation is actually not good. Techniques will eventually be limited by the era and become weaker. If they stop progressing, if moves cannot be updated, they will be overtaken in the blink of an eye. At that time even a vast Imperial clan would be easily destroyed. Then let us wait and see. After Qin Tai finished speaking, his figure turned into a wisp of clear breeze, dissipating into the sea of clouds. Emperor Li looked in the direction he left, shaking his head again. That old fox really can't stand to lose at all, giving away people and techniques. You'd better realize the 8th seal. Otherwise my Li family will really lose big this time. Additional task failed. The moment you saw these words, you suddenly looked up. The first thing you thought of was that you didn't hit her enough. TSK, besides, how come I didn't know I was being insulted? Thinking about it. Brain-dead system. It's normal for it to do brain-dead things. Shaking your head, your gaze moved to the check-in button on the system panel. By checking in at different locations, you can randomly obtain simulation counts, techniques, items, and spirit stone rewards, considering the current gap between the host's strength and task difficulty. This system hereby opens the check-in function as a supplementary mechanism. This function aims to provide additional growth paths for the host, helping the host accumulate resources and increase strength faster. Please use it with a heart full of gratitude. Quite considerate, considering I might not be able to finish tasks. So it gave a check-in function. I can get rewards just by lying down. But system, maybe you should go get treated. Guess how I unlocked this function? If I weren't already used to it, I would definitely be fuming with laughter. Check-in, you whispered in your heart. Congratulations to the host for obtaining a grade 9 reward. Supreme Dao Heart. As the system notification fell, in an instant a power as vast as a galaxy erupted from within your body. The Supreme Dao Heart condensed at your heart, turning into a brilliant golden core of light, like a miniature scorching sun, rotating slowly. Supreme Dao Heart, the source of all laws. Cultivators in this world can only perform spiritual arts at low levels, but at profound levels, they need to integrate their own Dao, evolving into Dao techniques. Therefore the struggle of the strong is also called clashing techniques. However, above Dao techniques, there are supreme Dao techniques that reign over everything. The Supreme Dao Heart is the foundation for performing supreme Dao techniques. Even with the same move, driven by the Supreme Dao Heart, the Dao technique can be evolved into a supreme Dao technique. The difference in power is worlds apart. What's more terrifying is, the spiritual energy stored in the Supreme Dao Heart exceeds normal people by 10 or 100 times. It is almost inexhaustible. That is a gift that can never be achieved through postnatal cultivation. Only those favored by the great Dao can receive it. You suddenly let out a heart-piercing scream. Under the tender skin of the Wu-year-old child, countless golden Dao patterns moved like living creatures. Every inch those patterns spread. Large chunks of flesh shattered into a glaze-like state, then recombined within the chaotic immortal light. As the recombination proceeded, your aura climbed steadily. Golden Dao patterns actually faintly emerged around your body, moving like dragons and snakes, profound and unpredictable. Boom! The moment the Supreme Dao Heart finished merging and awakened, the clouds changed color. The heavens and earth resonated. A huge pillar of chaotic light burst from your crown, reflecting the sky above the Qin ancestral land like 9 suns shining together. In that pillar of light thousands of Dao patterns could be vaguely seen flowing. Every wisp of Dao pattern contained a terrifying aura. Young Master. In the courtyard of Wangchuan Pavilion, the Polonia Zither in Ye Jianwei's hand snapped a string. His hollow eyes suddenly looked toward the room. His eyes actually briefly recovered vision under the influence of the light pillar. He saw his young master clutching his heart, kneeling in the center of the light. the flesh of his body constantly collapsing and being reborn. Behind him, a phantom wearing an imperial crown vaguely emerged. Though it was only for an instant. Though it was only a side profile. But just as imagined in dreams. Young master is indeed handsome. The phenomenon here naturally alerted others as well. Everyone in the Qin family. Whether they were ancestors' elders or young disciples currently cultivating. All looked toward the sky. Shocked by this world-startling phenomenon. This is the aura of the supreme Dao Heart. Qin Tai suddenly opened his eyes. A terrifying golden light shot from his gaze. Who is it? My Qin family actually has someone who awakened a supreme Dao Heart. His gaze pierced through layers of obstacles. Looking toward the source of the aura. The next moment doubt turned into joy. Chuaner awakened a supreme Dao Heart. Never mind others. Even as the grandfather Qin Fuhai's eyes were wide open. Full of disbelief. Even he didn't expect that this grandson of his was actually so defying the heavens. Immortal body plus immortal bone. And now a supreme Dao Heart. Then in the future won't he be stepping on all those geniuses? This matter would surely be unthinkable for anyone else. But if placed on the ninth young master it is quite normal. Qin Wenhe stroked his beard while watching this scene. As your teacher. He wasn't that surprised. After all, he had truly seen too much already. He had already become your number one fan. You sat alone in the quiet room. Slowly exhaling a breath of turbid air. I can start the second simulation now. You whispered. Your gaze falling on the simulation button of the system panel. Ye Jianwei didn't know that bringing him back to the Qin family. Exactly what kind of variables it would bring to the future. Having said that, you decisively clicked the simulation button. It lit up suddenly. Amidst the flowing light. A look of expectation emerged in your eyes. Second simulation. Consumes 50 years of lifespan. Simulation begins. Year 0. You were born in the profound nether realm of the Thousand Prefectures. In a poor cultivation family, the Han family. Though the Han family was poor, the clansmen were united. Life was quite leisurely. When you were born, a light snow fell from the sky. Your father named you Han Han. Simulation paused. You stared at the screen in front of you. The corners of your mouth twitched slightly. You took a deep breath, forcing down the wordlessness in your heart. You raised your hand and clicked on the system description interface. System come. Read this part to me properly. At this moment you started another round of simulation. Year 1. You grew up under the care of your parents. Though there were no delicacies or spirit medicines at home. Your father often took you up the mountain to gather herbs. Your mother taught you to read and write. Year 3. Your mother gave birth to another daughter. Named Han Shui. Looking at the chubby little sister. You secretly thought, so ugly. Year 5. You began to show extraordinary cultivation talent. At only 5 years old you could already trigger heaven and earth spiritual energy. Your father said gratifiedly. My child has extraordinary talent. In the future perhaps you can revitalize our Han family. It was only then that you learned. There is a secret in the Han family bloodline. Those with extraordinary talent can awaken bloodline power. As long as the bloodline power is activated, one can conceal all of one's aura, temporarily turning into an ordinary person with no cultivation. Even for a great emperor. Unless their true self arrives in person, it is difficult to see through. You joked that this was a useless ability. Year 6, when you were 6 years old. You once followed your father up the mountain to gather herbs. Unexpectedly fell to the bottom of the hanging heaven cliff. At the bottom was a 9-leaf dowgrass emitting a faint light. Under the unbearable pain, you grabbed 3 leaves and swallowed them to satisfy your hunger. But unexpectedly, your injuries healed instantly. This is a gift from heaven. Looking at the remaining 6 leaves, your heart was full of awe. After thinking twice, you picked 3 more leaves and stored them carefully, leaving the remaining 3 for this magical spirit grass. Returning home, you gave these 3 magical leaves to your father, mother, and young sister respectively. Seeing them look refreshed after taking them, you showed a satisfied smile. This secret, you buried deep in your heart. Never mentioned it to anyone. Simulation paused. 9-leaf dowgrass. You looked at this herb on the screen, feeling strangely familiar. How do these leaves look so much like the heaven's luck creation fruit? The more you looked, the more familiar it felt. The treasure is not the leaves, but the fruit buried underneath. The heaven's luck creation fruit is no ordinary treasure. It is very rare even in the 10 directions immortal court. After taking it, one's body will not only naturally attract heaven and earth destiny. Opportunities will be constant in the short term, turning danger into safety, and even slightly twisting the trajectory of fate. He only took a few leaves, but left the most precious creation fruit behind. You said while contemplating in your heart, if this thing is still there after the simulation ends, won't it be mine? Simulation continues. Year 8, a disaster occurred. When your father was gathering herbs in the mountains, he accidentally offended a disciple of the profound nether realm expert Blood Fiend Ancestor. The Blood Fiend Ancestor was furious, ordered the extermination of your family. Year 9, the Han family was destroyed. Your father was publicly beheaded. His head hung on the city gate for 3 days as a public display. Your mother was mutilated into a human stump, tortured to death. Only you and your young sister Han Shui narrowly survived, hiding amidst the ruins. TSK, this treatment, could he be a so-called son of destiny? You clicked your tongue and said, those with great destiny in this world. You know of them. Lest it becomes a 30 years east 30 years west situation later. In the 10th year you wandered everywhere with your sister. Despite encountering many setbacks, you did not give up on cultivation. Instead you became even more diligent, with only one thought in your heart, revenge. In the 12th year, your talent caught the attention of some rogue cultivators. Someone wanted to take you as a disciple, but you refused. The Blood Fiend Ancestor's power was immense. Ordinary cultivators simply dared not provoke him. I must rely on myself. In the 14th year, just when you thought the path ahead was bleak, a mysterious person came to your door. His face was obscured by a black robe. His voice was hoarse. Han, do you want revenge? You stared at him warily. Who are you? Who I am is not important. What is important is that I can help you. From the conversation you learned, what he valued was the Han family bloodline power in your body. You knew well that this kind of person could not be trusted. So you refused. But what happened later exceeded your imagination. One as strong as the Blood Fiend Ancestor was actually wiped out by a single flick of his finger. The mysterious person claimed to be from the 10 Directions Immortal Court. You had heard of that place. The upper realm of the upper realms. A heaven above heavens that countless people could not reach in their entire lives. With a wave of his hand, your sister Han Shui actually appeared in his hand out of thin air. Unconscious. Shui. Your eyes were bloodshot. You wanted to rush forward, but were suppressed by an invisible force. Don't be anxious, she is fine. The mysterious person said indifferently. However, if you want to save her, you must do one thing for me. What thing? Assassinate the 9th young master of the Qin family, Qin Wangchuan. You had no room to refuse. Assassinate me. You stared at the text in the simulation light screen. A coldness unsuitable for your age appeared on your immature face. You tapped your fingertip lightly on the desk. A glint of gold flowed in the depths of your eyes. It seems that at my 10th birthday banquet, someone has prepared a grand gift for me. But I already know all of this. Aren't you all just coming to your deaths? In the 15th year you were taken to the 10 Directions Immortal Court, becoming a pawn of the mysterious person. You began to undergo cruel training. Under inhuman abuse, you successfully awakened your bloodline, gained the power of concealment. The mysterious person taught you a forbidden secret technique, Ethereal Walk. It can burn spiritual energy in exchange for brief invincible speed. But the price, spiritual energy consumption, is massive. When spiritual energy is insufficient, it will overdraw essence blood. And he showed you a pitch-black nail. Remember at Qin Wangchuan's 10th birthday banquet. You must take action. As long as you stab this nail into his body, your mission is complete. At that time I will let you reunite with your sister. You did not know what this nail was. You only felt an ominous aura radiating from it. The mysterious person was very cautious when holding it, fearing he might touch even a sliver of it. Later you learned that this nail was a thing from beyond the domain. In the 16th year you secretly investigated the Qin family. Found that Qin Wangchuan was the youngest son of the Qin family, with transcendent talent and powerful strength, receiving thousands of favors. Why kill him? You were puzzled in your heart. Despite 1,000 reluctances, for the sake of your sister, you had no other choice. In the 18th year Qin Wangchuan's 10th birthday banquet was held as scheduled. Major powers and imperial clans from the 1,000 prefectures gathered. The scene was magnificent. You used the identity arranged by the mysterious person to mingle into the banquet. The pitch-black nail was hidden in your sleeve. When the banquet was at its peak, someone suggested making friends through martial arts. Seizing the right moment you suddenly lunged. Qin Wangchuan. Ethereal walk activated. You burned all your spiritual energy to turn into an afterimage, stabbing directly at the target. However, when a crisp sound of clashing metal echoed through the hall, your full-strength strike was actually blocked effortlessly by the young boy's slender arm. You looked up and met a pair of smiling eyes. Qin Wangchuan tilted his head and looked at you with a playful tone. Who sent you? At the same time his voice fell. Zither music swirled in your ears. Your head felt like it was splitting in pain. You gritted your teeth and didn't answer. Striking again. However, as a self-proclaimed genius, you who cultivated diligently could not gain an inch of ground before the 10-year-old him. This absolute power filled you with terror. In the next moment, a great emperor of the Qin family took action. Vast emperor's might descended. The bones in your entire body were shattered. You died on the spot. The voice of the Qin family great emperor came to your ears. A mere ant dares to move against a young master of my Qin family. You looked up with difficulty, looking for the mysterious person in the crowd, only to find that he had long since vanished without a trace. Swear I'm sorry. Before your consciousness dissipated, you heard Qin Wangchuan let out a light sigh. What a pity. Simulation ended. Final achievement. Unsuccessful regicide. Survival time, 18 years. Ending, a life as a pawn. Ultimately becoming a discarded piece. You were born in a humble family. Grew up in obscurity. Could have had an ordinary life. But stepped into the vortex of fate due to an unprovoked disaster. In your youth you encountered the 9-leaf dowgrass. With a kind thought you left its life force intact. But it failed to leave half a shred of blessing for yourself. The family was wiped out. Closest kin died tragically. You survived with your sister in a wretched state. Only the fire of revenge remained in your heart. However, when you thought you had grasped a life-saving straw, you didn't know you had long since become a puppet in another's palm. They gave you power, taught you secret techniques, but never gave you a choice. Assassinating Qin Wangchuan was but a plot destined to fail. When the Qin family great emperor's palm fell, only then did you realize with a start, you weren't even considered a pawn, but a discarded piece to be thrown away after use. The last thing in your heart was, where is my sister? Where is the promise? Only Qin Wangchuan's light sigh drew a full stop to your ridiculous life. What a pity. A pity your talent was transcendent. Yet you ultimately became a wedding gown for others. A pity you endured for many years, yet did not gain half a shred of survival. Even more of a pity that the sister you spoke of had actually been tortured to death long ago. Your life was destined to be a tragedy from the very beginning. Additional comment. If you had swallowed the 9-leaf dowgrass back then, and dug out the spiritual fruit to consume, perhaps you could have changed your fate against the heavens. But with one kind thought, the karma was already settled. Lamentable. You gazed at the simulation light screen, at the short and tragic life of this small character Han Han. A rare trace of complexity appeared on your immature face. You tapped your fingertip lightly on the desk. A kind thought to leave 3 leaves. Yet you didn't know that kind thought was the key to reversing fate. Truly ironic. The next moment, thinking of the mysterious mastermind who plotted to assassinate you, you suddenly gave a cold sneer. What a pity. Indeed a pity. You stood up and pushed open the window lattice, looking toward the distant sky-piercing pillar. That is the entrance and exit for the lower realms. This pawn was used skillfully, going to the 1,000 prefectures to find someone, and specifically looking for their bloodline power. The person behind the scenes was indeed willing to spend a lot, even moving out items from beyond the domain. They don't want to kill me, or they know they cannot kill me. So I guess that nail is not fatal. It probably can only cripple me. Thinking quite well. At this time Han Han has already started wandering. As for that Heaven's Luck creation fruit, it should be at the bottom of the cliff right now. Having said that, you waved your hand grandly. Someone. As soon as the voice fell, several black shadows appeared silently behind you, kneeling on one knee. What are your orders, young master? Go investigate 1,000 prefecture called the Xianming Realm. Find a place called the Hanging Heaven Cliff. There is a Heaven's Luck creation fruit at the bottom of the cliff. Fetch it for me. The black shadows took the order, and were about to withdraw, but were called back again. No, wait. You pondered for a moment, then changed your words. I will go there personally. After giving the orders, you looked toward the distance. Inside the simulation I can destroy your plot. Outside the simulation I can do the same, and even become stronger than inside the simulation. Please choose from the following rewards to inherit. 1. 18 years of lifespan. 2. Forbidden secret technique, Ethereal walk and its comprehension points. 3. Origin plus 180. 1.8 times the origin is not bad. But compared to last time it seems a bit meager. So the only thing left is thinking your gaze move to Ethereal walk. Forbidden techniques are things that exist outside the technique grade system. Most are extremely powerful, but similarly accompanied by unimaginable costs. It's not that the Qin family doesn't have them. It's just that the Ancestor wouldn't let you learn them, saying he was afraid you would grow up crooked. I choose 2. You decisively chose Ethereal walk. In the next moment a mysterious and obscure cultivation method flooded into your mind. You closed your eyes and concentrated, carefully sensing this forbidden secret technique. Ethereal walk. Burn spiritual energy in exchange for extreme speed. Every step taken can ignore space, shortening a distance of 10 million miles into a few steps. When practiced to great completion one can reach the state of one step one world. Interesting. The corners of your mouth rose slightly. Taking a step out, the spiritual energy in your body suddenly boiled. A faint silver light rippled around your body. Whoosh! Your figure instantly disappeared from the spot. When you reappeared, you were already standing 10 fathoms away. So fast! A glint of surprise flashed in your eyes. This speed far exceeds ordinary movement techniques. It's even faster than some specialized teleportation-type spiritual arts. Although the consumption is huge, and accompanied by a terrifying cost. If spiritual energy is insufficient, it will burn oneself. It is a technique that can backlash on the user. But you have the supreme Dao Heart. Spiritual energy reserves are 10, or even 100 times that of normal people. Completely able to support multiple activations. In other words, this cost can be seen as almost non-existent. You tried Ethereal walk a few more times. Your figure flickered indeterminately in the courtyard, like a ghost elusive and drifting. This speed is indeed astonishing. You stopped your steps. A sharp light flashed in your eyes. But now is not the time to be addicted to cultivation. You looked up toward the distance. Your gaze seemed to pierce through layers of cloud seas, reaching directly to the lower realms. Just waiting to find the Xianming realm. A few days later, young master, we found it. You took the jade slip. At this moment in the Xianming realm of the 1,000 prefectures, Lord Bloodhand, it truly is the legendary Heaven's Luck creation fruit. A black-robed cultivator knelt prostrate on the ground, his voice trembling with excitement. I don't know who was so blind to not recognize such a supreme treasure, and only took a few leaves. But thanks to that, as long as you consume it, your hope of proving your emperorhood is even greater. In time you will surely become the #1 person in the Xianming realm. Bloodhand Yama, the overlord of the northern region of the Xianming realm, with pseudo-emperor cultivation, once slaughtered 3 major sects single-handedly. A fierce reputation. Humph, if I hadn't hidden at the bottom of the cliff while being besieged, I really wouldn't have discovered it. Guarding bitterly for 2 years. Finally waiting for it to ripen. Greed flashed in Bloodhand Yama's eyes. Pass the order. Seal off the area within 100 miles of Hanging Heaven Cliff. Anyone who enters without permission. Before his voice finished, the sky suddenly darkened. Sharp black shadows pierced through the sky like meteors. In an instant they stood at the bottom of the cliff. They wore uniform black battle armor, with a gold background black word Qin embroidered on their shoulders. Each had their aura restrained, yet it made people shudder with cold. Who goes there? Bloodhand Yama shouted sharply. Blood mist churning around him. This is my territory, withdraw quickly. Noisy. The leading black shadow spoke indifferently, with a casual wave of his hand. Boom! Bloodhand Yama felt like he was struck by lightning. His whole body flew backward, slamming heavily into the cliff wall, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He discovered in terror that his pseudo-emperor peak cultivation was as fragile as paper under this casual strike. The Qin family is conducting business. Uninvolved persons withdraw quickly. The Qin family. In the local Xianming realm of the 1,000 prefectures, there are naturally branch families of the Qin family. But these people would not think that the people before them actually came from the even higher 10 directions immortal court. People from the Qin family main clan. Gr. Great Lord have mercy. Bloodhand Yama ignored his injuries, crawling and rolling to kneel prostrate on the ground. This lowly one was blind, and did not recognize Mt. Tai, unaware that the Qin family envoy had arrived. The black shadows were accustomed to this kind of reaction. The leader walked straight to the three-leaf dowgrass, carefully prying open the roots. As expected, he saw the Heaven's Luck Creation fruit hidden below, dug it out along with the root system, and placed it into a specially made jade box. The hand of the leader of the Qin family secret guards trembled slightly as he held the box. The Heaven's Luck Creation fruit in the box circulated with a chaotic halo. He remembered before departure. The ninth young master's casual instruction, "Bring the Heaven's Luck Creation fruit to me." At this moment every word exploded in his heart like thunder. It turned out the cliff bottom cherished a supreme treasure rare in 10,000 years. Great Lord. Blood Hand Yama ignored wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth. Hurriedly took a silk pouch from his bosom. This is a 10,000-year bloodlingji cherished by this lowly one. Although not as precious as the Heaven's Luck Creation fruit, it is also a rare item. Please accept it, Great Lord. The Black Shadow leader glanced at it, showing a look of disdain. You dare to bring out such trash? Keep it for yourself. Blood Hand Yama dared not be angry, and even kowtowed repeatedly. Being able to serve the Qin family is this lowly one's blessing. I wonder if the Great Lords need a guide. This lowly one knows this vicinity like the back of his hand. No need. The Black Shadow leader interrupted. We have other tasks. Before his voice finished, 12 figures had already soared into the sky, disappearing into the horizon in an instant, leaving behind a group of cultivators at the bottom of the cliff stunned as wooden chickens. Lord, you just let them leave like that? The black-robed cultivator asked unwillingly. That was a pseudo-emperor. Didn't they say a pseudo-emperor is how invincible? Why is he like a dog? Shut up. Blood Hand Yama backhanded a slap, sending the man flying while spitting blood. His eyes were full of mockery. The Qin family in the central region of the Xianming realm is powerful enough, right? But as far as I know, that is but a branch of the Qin family. The true Qin family main clan sits in the legendary heaven above heavens. That is a colossus that even the heavenly Dao must yield to by 3 points. His cold gaze swept over everyone, his voice carrying a chilling intent. Today, they only took the spirit medicine to give you and me face. If we truly angered the Qin family. Bloodhand Yama suddenly gave a sinister laugh, his 5 fingers forming a claw and clutching at the air. A distant mountain peak exploded with a boom. Exterminating a sect, that is the most painless way to die. After speaking, he looked in the direction the Qin family envoys left with lingering fear, his eyes full of awe. It's fine if the supreme treasure is lost. In this world the land is vast, but life is the greatest. Being able to live is already a great fortune. Lower Thousand Prefecture, Azure Sea Realm, Northern Region. Green Mist Holy Land. Atop the peaks surrounded by clouds and mist, the bells of the Green Mist Holy Land rang long and loud. On the plaza paved with white jade, hundreds of disciples were lined up neatly with solemn expressions. Kneeling in the front row was a young girl dressed in a plain white long skirt, about 13 or 14 years old, with skin like congealed fat, and features like a painting. She lowered her head, seemingly respectful, but in fact her peripheral vision constantly glanced at the middle-aged man beside her, the third elder of the Green Mist Holy Land, her master Mo Qianjue. Chiwa focus. Mo Qianjue sent a voice transmission, with a warm smile on his face. A great figure is arriving today. Do not lose your manners. In Chiwa nodded lightly, but sneered continuously in her heart. It has been 3 years since she was brought to the sect by the other party. In these 3 years, not only has she sat firmly in the position of holy daughter, relying on her own heaven-defying talent, but she has long since perceived the true face of this kind teacher. Master, he recruits female disciples on a large scale. On the surface it seems like kindness. In reality, he is secretly practicing evil arts. If I can take today's opportunity. She secretly calculated, unconsciously twisting the corner of her clothes with her fingers. Suddenly the clouds on the horizon surged. 9 golden lights broke through the air and arrived. Welcome the immortals. The Holy Land sect master shouted loudly, leading the way in kneeling prostrate. The entire Green Mist Holy Land, from elders down to handymen, all knelt in a row, their foreheads pressed tightly to the ground. In Chiwa stole a glance, seeing 9 golden-armored cultivators standing in the air. Their aura was incomparably powerful. On their shoulders was similarly embroidered a gold background black word. Qin. The entire Green Mist Holy Land take orders. The leading golden-armored cultivator's voice was like thunder. By the Royal Highness's decree. Specifically here to find someone. The sect master looked up tremblingly. I wonder who the immortals are looking for. This lowly one will surely cooperate fully. Two golden-armored cultivators ignored him, but looked at each other. One of them took out a jade slip. Does the condition match? The other scanned below for a moment, then took out another jade slip. Azure Sea Realm Bluestone Town. Should be correct. Is the daughter of the In family present? In Chiwa's whole body trembled. Looking up blankly. She never thought that such great figures were actually coming for her. Chiwa answer quickly. Mo Qianjue urged urgently. An unusual look flashed in his eyes. Disciple In Chiwa is here. In Chiwa slowly stood up, her voice trembling slightly due to tension. In Chiwa, we are looking for the daughter of the In family. The golden-armored cultivator frowned slightly. Answer yes or no. The In family only has me as an only daughter. It should be me. In her nervousness, In Chiwa didn't have time to think much, and hurriedly responded, yes. The golden-armored cultivator's gaze was like lightning, sweeping over her body. He nodded slightly. Where is Mo Qianjue? Mo Qianjue showed a look of joy, hurriedly stepping forward. This lowly one is here. I wonder if the immortals. Bang! A muffled sound. Mo Qianjue's body suddenly exploded. Flesh and blood flew everywhere. The whole field fell into dead silence. In Chiwa's eyes widened as she stood frozen on the spot. That master who was as powerful as a god in her eyes. That nightmare that made her unable to sleep at night. Just died like that. In an instant turned into minced meat. Without even leaving a single word of parting. The Royal Highness has a decree. Execute Mo Qianjue. The golden-armored cultivator withdrew his palm. His tone was as flat as if he had just swatted a mosquito. Mission complete. After speaking, the few people intended to leave. Wait! In Chiwa suddenly shouted. Her voice sharp due to excitement. That Royal Highness, who is he? Why save me? Save you? Suddenly a sneer rang out. Just an ant of the lower realm. Don't flatter yourself too much. His Highness had his own reasons for today's matter. The golden-armored cultivator said while glancing back at him. As for who His Highness is, you have no need to know. He paused. His tone carried a condescending pity. All you need to know is, he is a great figure you couldn't reach in 100, 1,000 or 10,000 lifetimes of cultivation. A golden light flashed. 9 figures vanished without a trace, leaving only a mess on the ground, and the stunned people of the Holy Land. In Chiwa staggered backward, and slumped to the ground. She gazed at the mangled corpse of Mo Qianjue, feeling as if everything were a dream. The fear that had been like a maggot on the bone for 3 years was lifted just like that. That Royal Highness. She murmured to herself. A stormy sea surged in her heart. Just what kind of existence is he? Only then did the sect master and others come to their senses, and crowded around her. Chiwa, when did you get to know such a great figure? Various inquiries echoed noisily around her. In Chiwa turned a deaf ear. She looked up toward the sky. The clouds she could only see in the past suddenly became the endless firmament. The sky was unexpectedly vast. One couldn't see the end at a glance. Then an unprecedentedly bold thought took root and sprouted in her heart. She wanted to meet this mysterious lord, and personally say a word of thanks. Task completed. Simulation count +1. Origin +100. Current origin, 11.65 times. 2 years passed in the blink of an eye. This year you are 7 years old. With the Qin family's power, even completing a seemingly impossible task like finding a needle in a haystack, surprisingly only took a few months. Of course this is thanks to branches and subsidiaries everywhere across the realms. As for that Heaven's Luck creation fruit, it had long been brought back to the Qin family. But during this time you were practicing Zither arts, so it was temporarily set aside. Your fingertips lightly plucked the Zither strings. The Zither notes lingered, flowing like a clear spring, and like mountain wind brushing through a bamboo forest, carrying an ineffable rhythm. Although the art of the Zither is small, but it can also evolve into the great Tao. You whispered to yourself, then stopped plucking the Zither, raising your eyes to look at Ye Jianwei. Let's stop here for today. Ye Jianwei was slightly stunned, then respectfully put down the Zither score in her hand. A trace of wonder flashed in her eyes. Young master's progress in Zither arts is so fast. It is truly inconceivable. You chuckled upon hearing this, but did not say much more. Under the blessing of 11x comprehension, it was no joke. Seeing that you didn't respond, Ye Jianwei pursed her lips. After deliberating for a moment she said, "This phoenix melody of the 9 heavens. I have studied for a year, yet still cannot grasp 30% of its true meaning. But young master only listened to me play it once, and has already captured its essence, even playing better than I do. She paused. A look of complexity appeared in her heart. Young master's extraordinary comprehension can no longer be described by the word genius. After being in the Qin family for so long, she had already learned of your full identity. The ninth young master of the Qin family. She had felt it sounded familiar before. Only later did she realize with shock. Yes, it is that Qin family, one of the 10 Imperial clans. And although you are only the youngest prince of the Qin family, you are also the most heaven-defying great figure. Nourished by supreme bone and immortal bone at birth. Awakening the longevity immortal physique. Destined to become an immortal in the future. Breaking through in dreams is a regular occurrence. First removing clan traitors through foresight. Then awakening the supreme Dao Heart. Hailed as the youngest fourth realm in history. And that heaven-defying comprehension. All of this caused her pressure to skyrocket. In order not to shame her master, she could only practice desperately. 2 years passed. Although she luckily entered the second realm in a short time, and has already touched the threshold of the third realm. But she was still far behind you. A sense of inferiority always hung over her head. Relax. I don't know about others. Your fingers brushed over the zither strings, landing on Ye Jianwei's tense shoulder line. The corner of your lips rose slightly. Your gaze suddenly became deep. But you Ye Jianwei. The young prince raised his eyes. There will come a day when you will become a top powerhouse echoing throughout the 3,000 Dao prefectures. I am more certain of this than anyone else. Ye Jianwei's hollow eyes trembled slightly. Her pale fingers unconsciously twisted her plain white skirt. Although she couldn't see, but she could clearly feel that gaze landing on her. Without any hint of ridicule or joking. Serious and gentle. Like the sunlight that melts snow in early spring. Young master, she called out unconsciously. The tips of her ears instantly turned deep red. A burning sensation spread from her cheeks to her neck. Even her toes curled up involuntarily. Without guessing, she knew her face was as red as a monkey's bottom. A young girl's delicate heart. She didn't want her master to see her in this shameful state. She knelt down immediately. This servant. Ye Jianwei's forehead pressed against the cold floor tiles. Her scattered hair was no longer withered and yellow as before. Her voice trembling, she spoke. I will surely not fail young master's expectations. Ever since her mother passed away, she clearly vowed never to shed tears again. Yet at this moment she was scorched by a gaze until her heart ached. Her blind eyes were already moist. Tears fell uncontrollably. Clearly she was a servant. Clearly their ages were almost the same. But the young master looked after and trusted her like an older brother. Ye Jianwei swore in her heart. For the young master, she would have no regrets even in death. Entering the cultivation room. With a flip of your hand, a golden fruit with a chaotic halo flowing on its surface appeared in your palm. It was indeed the heaven's luck creation fruit. The path of cultivation. Comprehension is certainly important. But opportunities are also indispensable. You gazed at the fruit. A trace of depth flashed in your eyes. Ordinarily, the heaven's luck creation fruit cannot bring an increase in cultivation level. But that is for ordinary people. I possess the peak immortal bone and supreme Dao Heart. Perhaps I can take this chance to break through. Having said that, you swallowed the heaven's luck creation fruit without hesitation. Boom, in an instant. A power as vast as a galaxy erupted within your body. You only felt your soul tremble. The scene before you changed abruptly. You felt as if you were in the endless void. Stars rotated all around. Looking down, laws of the great Dao wove into a net, shrouding the whole world. And in this vast world where the Dao was interwoven, there were several shining points of light. Their mere existence disturbed the surrounding Dao, forcing it to converge toward them, forming unique points of light. A mysterious and profound sensation welled up in your heart. You even felt omnipotent at this moment. It was a sense of power that one could get lost in if not careful. I am the heavens. As the words fell, time seemed to stand still. The heaven's luck creation fruit not only contained the luck of heaven and earth, but also allowed you to briefly touch another level. Reaching the heaven above heavens, seeing the laws of the great Dao, and witnessing the flow of luck, and the sons of luck wrapped in destiny. So that's how it is. You whispered softly, not indulging in that feeling of omnipotence and control over everything, but returning to yourself, carefully feeling the surging power of luck within your body. At this moment you were surrounded by luck like a dragon. coiling incessantly, as if every movement could trigger the momentum of heaven and earth. The spirit sea within you surged. The supreme Dao Heart beat violently. An unprecedented power galloped through your meridians. Crack some kind of shackle within was instantly shattered. The aura around you suddenly skyrocketed. Chaotic immortal light soared into the sky, condensing into a blurry shadow behind you. Your heart roared like a war drum. With every beat, the spirit sea within surged and doubled in size. Spiritual energy poured in like a mad tide, sweeping through all your meridians. 10 heartbeats. 10 layers of transformation. The spiritual platform suddenly expanded tenfold amidst the roaring, like the vast starry sky suddenly stretching open. Endless spiritual energy formed a vortex, frantically pouring into this reborn shell. Fifth realm, Spirit Sea Realm. Attained. You slowly opened your eyes, raising your eyes to look at the horizon. Your gaze seemed to penetrate the endless void. You sensed the position of those with great destiny. It seems there really are so-called protagonists in this world. The scene of spiritual energy surging at Wangchuan Pavilion was naturally seen by others. Look, the ninth young master has broken through again. A disciple exclaimed, pointing at the chaotic pillar of light soaring into the sky. Thousands of Dao patterns were seen flowing within the light pillar. The aura of the fifth realm just reached hadn't been restrained yet. Fifth realm. It's only been 2 years. Even Qin Wenhe, the Imperial tutor, was astounded seeing this. A 7-year-old in the Spirit Sea realm. It's simply too heaven-defying. The disciples sparring on the martial arts field all stopped at once. Someone gazed at that faintly visible Imperial shadow, and suddenly began slapping their own face repeatedly. I only broke through to the fifth realm at 20. If outsiders knew about the variables here. The ninth young master's longevity, immortal physique cultivation speed, is not only not slow, it's even flyingly fast. A companion nearby replied blankly, already beginning to imagine that scene. Deep within the Forbidden Land, a black chess piece hung above the chessboard. Qin Tai's hand holding the piece paused slightly. His sharp eyes reflected the chaotic immortal light penetrating the restriction. Across the chessboard, the sprout on the wood ancestor's fingertip silently stretched, sprouting thin branches in the halo. The heaven's luck creation fruit. The ancestor suddenly laughed softly. To be able to find such a treasure that vanished for 10,000 years. Having said that, a piece was placed down. A ripple appeared in space. But even so, breaking through to the fifth realm at 7. Unprecedented and unmatchable. Have I underestimated him too much? The wood ancestor's branch also curled up. A chess piece landed on the board. The placement was silent. Contrary to you, I have already looked highly enough. Yet I didn't expect it to still be beyond expectations. Before the words finished, both laughed softly at the same time. Whose eaves hide a young phoenix? One day its clear cry will shake the 9 heavens.